And good afternoon. This is Mariners Baseball, and this is the Rooftop Sports. I am finally back for Mariners Baseball. I believe this is my 6th game of the season. Unfortunately, I missed the last 3 games, the Tigers, and those 2 tragic losses to the Giants due to hashtag don't quit your day job. But if you would like to prevent more of that from happening, please hit that subscribe button, please donate, and hit the like button on this video. So, yeah, Mariners are off to a terrible start. And let me see how many games that I have done so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is my 6th game of the season, and I am now at 6 out of 10. So that means, and as of now, I am now on pace for 101 games out of 162. And yeah, Josh, it's been painful. A very painful start to the season. And it gets even worse because Jorge Polanco is actually out with an injury, and that guy just cannot stay healthy, as if he literally just had surgery for his knees, and it continues to have pain for him. So the Mariners, or just Jorge Polanco himself, he unfortunately just cannot catch a break. And that means Mariners are going to be extremely shorthanded, and it makes you question, when are the Mariners going to actually play their prospects in Ben Williamson and or Cole Young? And also, if you're wondering why my voice still sounds like garbage, is because I am still sick. I am still I'm still fighting it through. Yeah, it didn't really help that I didn't really take a real day off, which I'm finally going to do tomorrow to finally recharge, and then I'll be back for the Mariners Astros game, possibly. Yeah, pain for both teams. You bet the Giants win, Mariners. You bet the Giants at negative 1.5, so the Mariners are going to win. I would still put that money on the Giants. But Brian Wu does play, and he does usually play well in the Bay Area, so there is some advantage to it there. So I guess we will have to see where this all goes. And let me give you, I promise you'll see, topics for gossip. How are you? I don't think I've ever seen you on this show before. But let me give myself a quick SeatGeek breather.
SeatGeek is a mobile ticketing app for sporting events, concerts, and other events. They make the buying experience easier by the app ranking each ticket from 0 to 10 to see if you are getting a good deal, and you can see exactly where you are sitting. I regularly use that app, and I have had nothing but a fantastic experience with SeatGeek. Use my promo code RoofTopSports to get $20 off of your first purchase. Link to the code, app, and website will be in the description, so take advantage, and thank you.
And yeah, use that promo code RoofTopSports. At least the city of Houston is distracted by the end of March Madness, and the Rockets are now in the playoffs. So I guess there is that. And then still have a decent team in the Houston Texans as well, led by CJ Stroud, although he did have a considerably down year compared to his rookie year. So I gotta say that. And game's about to start in about 5 minutes. Let's look at the lineups for today. We got Victor Robles, Julio Rodriguez, Cal Raleigh, Randy Arozarena, Luke Raley, Rowdy Tellez, Dylan Moore at third base, Ryan Bliss, and J.P. Crawford. And here is the most appropriate reaction to that lineup. Yeah, it looks really, really, really bad. And looks like we are about to start in just a moment. There we are. And this first pitch will be brought to you by SeatGeek, as Victor Robles is now up on the plate. And now here's the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike. I also put my game in the titles in Korean so I can attract the Korean audience too. And yep, that's in there for a strike, and we're underway. Now here is a ground ball right to the shortstop. The throw to first, easy play, and he is out of there. And we've got one down already. You got Jay Hicks. He's got a sinker, a sweeper, a four-seamer, and that's going to be a swing and a miss. Strike one to Julio Rodriguez. Julio is now batting .219 with 2 home runs and 4 RBIs. And now the pitch again. And that's going to be missing it for a ball this time. As we got another pitch came in, and that's going to be a 2-1 count for Julio Rodriguez. Got pitch number 6 coming in, and the pitch. And now here's a fly ball to deep left field. Is that going? And that is gone. That is a home run for Julio Rodriguez. Mariners get on the board to make it 1-0 off a huge home run by Julio Rodriguez. And now it's the Mariners 1 and the Giants 0. And that is his 3rd home run of the season. And Julio is at least home run wise off to a fast start. As soon as he hit that, you figured that it would be gone. And that is exactly what the Mariners needed, was that very quick start so we can get this win and go into Houston with at least not getting swept and humiliated by these Giants, because the Giants are off to a great start. So let's halt that. Now we got Cal Raleigh up to the plate, and that's going to be in there for a strike. That home run was just absolutely, that was just blasted. And now the pitch, that's going to be foul ball, and that's going to go well out of play. As you saw Matt Chapman there. And Cal Raleigh at the plate as we are looking at an 0-2. And that is up high for a ball. And that's going to be missing it for a ball, 2-2. Cal Raleigh at 2-2. Mariners leaders, Robles with 10 hits. And the pitch. Now here's a liner, and that's going to drop in for a base hit, and this could be extra bases. Cal Raleigh is going to second base. He is going to have a stand-up double, as the Mariners are still actually showing life on this offense, at least for once. And now you got Randy Arozarena up to the plate, and maybe he can do some damage. And now we got Randy Arozarena up to the plate. He has a chance to do some kind of damage. And now the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike. And now the pitch. And that is a strike. That's going to be 0-2 on Randy Arozarena. Now the pitch again. And a swing and a miss, strike 3. Awful swing by Randy Arozarena. And now we got 2 outs. Game is already over for my bet. What are you talking about? Topics for gossip. What's up with you? Now we got Luke Raley up to the plate. Luke Raley is playing first base today. And now the pitch. And that got him. He's going to first base. As that hit Luke Raley? And he'll take one for the team. Oh, man. Topics for gossip. You are in such a mood right now, aren't you? And why the heck are you on my show anyway? Very nice. And now it's that's a swing and a miss, strike one. Hate people like you so much. Well, you hate me, then ignore me and get out. And now the pitch to Rowdy Tellez, and that is going to be inside for a ball, 1-1. Yeah, who's this topics for gossip guy? I mean, most people would probably just block him. But it's like, then why are you on this? Why are you giving me views? Why are you giving me comments? There's nowhere to get a broadcast, so I'm stuck in... So are you a Mariners fan? Topics for gossip? You don't have $20 a month for Root Sports? And now the pitch. And that is a ball. Nah, let him be. Let him vent. Sounds like he's having a really bad day, so let him be. See? He's just trolling. He's just having some fun. Now the 3-1. And now here's a ground ball right to Jordan Hicks. Toss over the first, and that is in time. And that's going to retire the side. But Julio Rodriguez gets a home run to put the Mariners on the board, and the Mariners will lead it 1-0. We just got an order. While he makes that pizza, what's up, baseball fans and pizza lovers? In celebration of the start of the baseball season, we've got a home run of a deal for you. We're offering 50% off all menu items on Mondays and Tuesdays and 25% off bowling. Don't strike out on this amazing deal. Check out our menu in the description of this video and start ordering now. Delivery is also welcome. This offer goes through April. Yeah, he sounds like an OF model, if you know what I mean. I'm not going to say it out loud at all. No, thank you. But that's what he sounds like. He sounds like he wants... Who pays for cable? You must be 90? Wow. This guy. So call me Casino, the ad. And we are back from the break. Lineup for the Giants is going to be Lamont Wade Jr., Willie Adames, Jung-Hoo Lee, Matt Chapman, Helio Ramos, Yastrzemski, Matos, Bailey, and Koss. I'm going to have to delete that one. It's inappropriate, buddy. And yeah, I'm going to have to delete that too. I don't want that kind of baggage on my channel. Sorry, buddy. We got Lamont Wade Jr. He takes it for a ball as we're looking at a 1-0 count. And now the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike. So this guy just gambles, huh? That's the first thing he says. He was saying that the Giants were going to win. Looks like he's not here anymore. So he left. I guess he had enough of me. The pitch. That's going to be a foul ball. Ian says he's not impressed with Julio Rodriguez. Can I blame him? Not really. He's got a long ways to go. As we're looking at 1 and 2 for Lamont Wade Jr. And now the pitch. And a swing and a miss, strike 3. Down he goes. Yeah. That comment, huh? Woo! Really says it, doesn't he? This topic's for gossip, guys. Literally just trolling the heck out of my channel. Wonder if he'll do that to my videos. The pitch. And that is going to be a strike. As we're looking at 1-1 to Willy Adames, the pitch. And that's going to be popped up and foul. He's already on 2 strikes. As we're looking at 0-2. And now the pitch. And that is a ground ball. And that is going to be shortstop JP Crawford throw to first. And that is in time to get him out. Have a good day. Don't need you. Now here's Jung-Hoo Lee to the pitch. And that's going to be not in there for a ball. As Jung-Hoo Lee he takes it for a ball this season. He's batting .321, no home runs and 3 RBIs. Had his rookie year last year, but he got injured. And he misses it for a ball. That should have been a strike. 9 pitches in for Wu with 2 outs. Pretty efficient so far. And the 2-0. And that's going to be a ball. On the bright side, my 100 prediction win for the Giants looks pretty good. Do you predict them to win the NL West over the Dodgers? As we're looking at 2-1. And now the pitch. And that is going to be a 2-2 count on Jung-Hoo Lee. As we were looking at 2-2. And now the pitch. Now here's a liner, and that's going to get in there for a base hit. It's probably going to be extra bases, and Lee Jung-Hoo is going to second base with a stand-up double. And now we got a runner in scoring position. Tying run at second, lead run at the plate. That was a nice Ichiro-esque swing. He's known to be the Korean Ichiro. It was a very nice swing by Jung-Hoo Lee. Giants are 10 of 39 with runners in scoring position in our last 2 games. And here's Matt Chapman. And inside for a ball. That nearly got him. Northwest Sports Fanatics has 18 people watching versus 7 of mine. As we're looking at 1-0. Giants coached by Bob Melvin. Swing and a miss. That was right down the middle. And that's going to be strike 1. Kind of a low-budget Ichiro. I guess you can say that. The Giants did pay pretty hefty for him. The 1-1. And that's a foul ball. Going to be strike 2. Let's see if Matt Chapman can get out of here. Brian Wu get that strikeout. Yeah, poop right now, but maybe they'll turn it around sometime this season. As we're looking at 1-2 for Matt Chapman. And now we're looking at 1-2 pitch, and he's frozen for a moment. And here it is. And a swing and a miss. Strike 3. Second strikeout for Brian Wu, and that will retire the side. we go to the top of the second inning. Mariners still have a chance. They do have a chance to get more runs going. I got to find a commercial to play.
Modern Exterior Solutions is a fully licensed and insured full-service exterior renovations company serving Seattle and East Side communities. We know that a home is one of your most important possessions. That's why we're committed to providing high-quality, affordable home renovations for each customer's individual budget. We're diverse enough to meet the challenges of any project you put in front of us. Our workmanship minimizes the use of third-party services, and our team works together to meet all your deadlines. Anytime there is a challenge, we work with you to find a solution. We are proud to work with distributors of quality brand products with durable, ample protection from the elements for a variety of applications, including James Hardie siding and trim. Talk with us today about your project's needs, and we can help you solve all the challenges along the way.
And if you're looking for those kind of home improvement services, here it is. There's that phone number and that website. It's in the chat box too. Still on commercial break at the very moment. And we are back from the break. Reminiscing on Dylan Moore's home run from yesterday, as the Mariners did drop that game 4-1. And they have lost their second series in a row. They lost to their old friend Robbie Ray. And now we got Dylan Moore up to the plate. Now he's up to bat. Makes sense why they played the home run. And now the pitch. And that is outside, up high for a ball. And I'm supposed to be joined by Steve later in the show, so we'll see. And now the pitch. Now here's a ground ball right to the shortstop. The throw over the first. And that is in time to get Dylan Moore. He's actually batting 400 throughout this series. It's not really saying much at all, though. I hate to say it. And now we got Ryan Bliss up to the plate. And now the pitch. And that is up high and inside for ball one. Ryan Bliss this season's batting 167. He is 2 for 6 in the series in the pitch. And that is a strike. Julio, they're looking at Jorge Polanco, who's actually suffered an injury. Now the pitch. And that will be in there for a strike again. That's going to be a 1-2 count on Ryan Bliss. And I have my fears. If Cole Young and Ben Williamson are ready by then, I don't know if there's going to be a spot for Ryan Bliss, especially if those two maybe perform. And the 1-2. And strike three called, and he knew it. Didn't even take a good hack at it. And now that's going to be 2 outs. As soon as Julio hits the home run, the offense cools down instantly. J.P. Crawford up to the plate. And now the pitch. And now here's a fly ball to right field and hooking foul. It was kind of nearly a home run, but now you wonder what's the Mariners' batting average after hitting a home run foul. My guess is he's going to strike out on this one. And the pitch, up high for a ball, 1-2. And now the 1-2 pitch. And that is inside for a ball. 2-2 for Crawford. Crawford has really struggled at the start of this season, batting 167. Dylan Moore didn't even realize he's batting 375. And As we're looking at 2-2. Now the pitch. And ball 3, 3-2. And I really thought that they were going to call a strike 3 on that one. Full count. Yeah, JP. Yeah, he's got to go soon. There's not really much room for him anymore after this season. Now the 3-2. And that is low for ball 4. Take your base as JP Crawford keeps this inning alive with the walk. And now we got Victor Robles up to the plate. Let's see if he can do some damage. Unfortunately, we don't really have much speed out of JP Crawford, though. Victor Robles now up to the plate. He hit the ground ball to the shortstop, and that is going to be a foul ball. Strike 1 for Victor Robles. I like the aggressiveness, but he has to make that fair. As now we're looking at an 0-1 count on Victor Robles. Now the pitch. That's going to be popped up and fouled 0-2. Checks the man run at first. And now I got Victor Robles the pitch. And that's up high for a ball. And on my fantasy baseball team, I'm actually winning this week, surprisingly. Now the pitch. And a check swing. And that's going to be a tough one. A barehanded. Oh, it does not happen. And Matt Chapman could not get the ball on his hand. And now we got runners on first and second. Everyone is safe. And now you got Julio Rodriguez up to the plate. And yes, please, Julio, you got to do some damage. If you don't hit anything to score a run, I'm going to forget about your home run. It's all up to Julio now. And the pitch. And a huge swing and a miss. And Julio was really trying to go for that home run. Strike 1. Victor Robles, unnoticeably, has an 8-game winning streak. His batting average is now up to 268. And now the 0-1. Now here's a ground ball right to shortstop. Nothing doing. Toss over to second, and that is in time. It's not going to get any runs in. Very disappointing. Could have gotten some more out of it. And now we go into commercial break. We got an extra large pizza for delivery. While he makes that pizza, what's up baseball fans and pizza lovers? In celebration of the start of the baseball season, we've got a home run of a deal for you. We're offering 50% off all menu items on Mondays and Tuesdays and 25% off bowling. Don't strike out on this amazing deal. Check out our menu in the description of this video. And start ordering now. Delivery is also welcome. This offer goes through April. Offer goes through April, so you want to go to Sahara Pizza. It's in Snoqualmie. You want to get that discount tomorrow and Tuesday, going through April. Take advantage of it because we really want to give you guys discounts for that pizza place. And we are back from the break. Nightbot MVP. I love it. Yeah, Nightbot really does a lot of work for me, doesn't he? Or doesn't it? And now we got next up to the plate, we've got Helio Ramos. And that is going to be a strike. It was right on the corners. Right on the edge of it, shall I say. Now the next pitch. Now here's a liner right over to Ryan Bliss. Throw over to first. And that is in time. And that's going to be 1 out. Nice fielding job by Ryan Bliss. Now they're talking to Brad Adam for whatever reason. Now we got Yastrzemski, the son of Carl Yastrzemski. We're like grandfather. And that is a swing and a miss. Strike 1 to Yastrzemski. This is Mike Yastrzemski. Last season, he hit very well. 18 home runs. He's actually been a solid player for the Giants. His grandfather, Carl Yastrzemski, one of the last Triple Crown winners in the American League. He's batting .333 this season. And now the pitch. And that's going to be popped up. And that should be playable. You would think how Raleigh is. Nope, well out of play. We're looking at 1-2 for Cal Raleigh. I'm sorry, for Yastrzemski. And breaking news, Logan Ohape, my fantasy baseball guy, hits another home run. 5th home run of the season. So we're looking at a 1-2 and the pitch. And a swing and a miss, strike 3. That's going to be another strikeout for Brian Wu. That is strikeout number 3. And he's been pitching very, very well so far. Can't complain about it. And Steve Silver just updated that he'll be on in just a few minutes. And now we got Matos up to the plate. And now here's the pitch. And now here's a ground ball right to Bliss. Diving stop. Throw over the first. And that is in time to get the 3rd out of the inning. Great play by Ryan Bliss. We go to the bottom of the 2nd. It is still 1-0 Mariners. Great play by Ryan Bliss. It was a great defensive play. And now, let's get into more commercials. We got an order for a Hawaiian pizza. While he makes that pizza, what's up, baseball fans and pizza lovers? In celebration of the start of the baseball season, we've got a home run of a deal for you. We're offering 50% off all menu items on Mondays and Tuesdays and 25% off bowling. Don't strike out on this amazing deal. Check out our menu in the description of this video. And start ordering now. Delivery is also welcome. This offer goes through April. Yep, take advantage of it. 25% off bowling, which I'll show a video. I got to shoot a video of myself playing bowling along with the boss. And also got to play... What do I got to do? Yeah, I just got to get more videos out there. That's all. It looks like we're still on commercial break at the moment. Might as well show a softball highlight of mine. I'll wait till Steve gets here. And we are back from the break. Now we got Cal Raleigh up to the plate. He is 1 for 1 with a double in the first inning. And now the pitch. Now here's a fly ball belted to deep right field, and that is gone. That is a home run for Cal Raleigh, and the Mariners now have taken a 2-0 lead. That is his second home run of the season. The big dumper delivers, and now Mariners have a 2-0 lead. And what an amazing strike by Cal Raleigh. 97-mile-an-hour exit velocity. The Mariners continue to put up some runs. Only 2 runs so far, but let's keep it going. Now next pitch, and that's going to be a strike for Randy Arozarena. Cal Raleigh is now 2 for 2 with a double and a home run. And that's going to be outside for a ball. Now the pitch, and that's going to be a swing and a miss. And time's been called by the umpire. And now the pitch to Arozarena. And that's going to be strike 3 called. Now we got 2 outs. Or just 1 out, sorry. Yep, we live and die by the home runs. Ian is absolutely correct. This is not efficient offense. He is right. I hate to agree with him, but I have to. Do not kill the messenger. And now we got Luke Raley up to the plate. And that's going to be a 1-0 count on Luke Raley. Cal Raleigh has reached base on 23 straight games, career high. They're counting it from last year. The pitch, and that's going to be inside for a ball. Now we got a 2-0 in the pitch. Now here's a liner and fouled. As we're looking at 2-1, and that's going to be a strike. That's going to be a 2-2 count on Cal Raleigh. And the pitch, that's going to be a ground ball right to the first baseman, tossed over the first in time, but Luke Raley really was hustling. And I do appreciate that effort by Luke Raley. And now we've got 2 outs for the Mariners. But I do know this, that 2 runs is clearly not going to be enough. We're looking at 2-0, bottom of the third. And the pitch. And that's going to be inside for a ball. This is Rowdy Tellez. As we're looking at a 1-0. Now the pitch again. And that's going to be a strike. And the 1-1 up high for a ball. That's going to be a 2-1 count. Rowdy Tellez looking at a 2-1. And the pitch. And there's going to be a fly ball to left field. And that's going to make the catch. And that's going to retire the side. But the Mariners added another run thanks to a home run by the big dumper, Cal Raleigh. The Mariners have 2-0 lead. We just got an order. while he makes that pizza. What's up, baseball fans and pizza lovers? In celebration of the start of the baseball season, we've got a home run of a deal for you. We're offering 50% off all menu items on Mondays and Tuesdays and 25% off bowling. Don't strike out on this amazing deal. Check out our menu in the description of this video and start ordering now. Delivery is also welcome. This offer goes through April. The offer goes through April. I'm telling all of you. Yeah, it's pretty sad, isn't it? And now the pitch. And that is a strike. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a 2-1 count on Bailey, the catcher. And now the pitch. And that's going to be in there for a strike. Bailey's looking at a 2-2. Brian Wu been pitching pretty well so far. And now the pitch. And that's going to be a foul ball. Still recovering, as you can tell. It's 2-2. A lot of foul balls happening in this at-bat, it seems. And now the pitch. And that's going to be popped up and fouled. And he is still fouling it off and still battling it. And that's going to be a 2-2. Still 2-2. So we're looking at 2-2 in the pitch. And fouled again. The pitch count's just going to keep going up on Brian Wu. And now the pitch. Now here is a line drive blooper, and that's going to be caught by Dylan Moore. Good heads-up play. And that's going to be 1 out. After fighting off all the foul balls, finally gets rewarded with an out. And we are joined by Steve. You made it.
What's up, buddy?
What's up? And now the pitch. That is a strike.
Better late than never. That's all I'm going to say. It's better late than never. And I'm glad I'm here. Hopefully everything is going pretty well. And it looks like by the score of the game so far, it looks like things are going quite well so far.
Yeah, so far, as we're looking at an 0-1 and now the pitch. And a swing and a miss, strike 2. Yeah, it was home runs by Julio and Cal Raleigh, but my knock is on the second inning, Julio had an opportunity to drive in at least 1 or 2 runs, and he failed. So Would have liked to see runs happen with runners on scoring position, as we're looking at 0-2. And now the pitch. Now here's a grounder right to Luke Raley. Gets over the first. That is in time. And Brian Wu has an easy... No, it's 2 outs. Has an easy 1-2 inning so far. And we got 2 outs. And you also missed the action that we had a troll on the page. Maybe you want to go back on the... Yeah, his name was Topics for Gossip. I'll even read what he said. What did he say? It was pretty vulgar things.
Really?
Yeah, it was actually...
I got it. Here's the... we're going to have to go through this.
Now pitch. And that's going to be up high for a ball.
Sorry about that. I just had to finish something up with WhatsApp there. So let's go ahead and get into this.
I had to delete some. Because they were really bad.
So by the way, was there male genitalia involved? Was that
no?
Okay, okay. At least we got that out of the way.
Well, he said the C word, and I had to delete it instantly.
The C dash dash dash.
The C dash dash. That's it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The pitch. Yeah. Big I. As we're looking at 2-1. And
well,
then
so now was he calling somebody the C dash dash, or was this geared towards you or the channel? What was the contents in which the C word
really himself? It was really weird. And then he said something like a certain group of people eat everything, if you know what I mean. I think you have an idea where that community is. That's what he was also. I was like, 2-2. And he said the N word, and I had to delete that.
So he drops the N word after dropping the C word. Let me tell you, man, that guy 100% winner. He's winning it. I'm just messing around with you.
He's winning in the troll game.
Yeah, well, I would even say he's winning in the troll game, because once you get to like disparaging people by dropping it, like, you've lost the plot completely. Flat out have lost the plot.
Everyone else were like, "Hey, are you okay, man?" I'm like, yeah, he's just trolling. Let him be.
I'm telling you, man. Some cats need medication. I'm telling you.
Yep. And he hasn't been, and he's kind of ignored us since, which I'm okay with. The pitch. And strike 3 called, and another strikeout for Brian. Oh, he's back.
Topics for gossip, huh? So is that the gentleman or ma'am that's in the chat?
That's the one.
Sup, fella? How you doing today, bud?
Yeah, how you doing? Or like in the Budweiser, how you doing?
How you doing? So we got Brian Wu, huh? We got the Wooski. Ooh, there you go. That's a nice pitch. The Wooski. That was a nice pitch right there.
It really was. He has 4 strikeouts now, so he's been pitching an absolute gem. He tends to do well against the California teams, by the way. He does well against Oakland's or A's and the San Francisco, I guess.
So give me a synopsis of the Mariner offense so far, because I see we're up 2-0. So how did the Mariners get their runs?
Julio Rodriguez hit a home run in the 1st inning, and then Cal Raleigh hit a home run in the 3rd inning.
Okay, so it's a couple solo bots. Hey, by the way, I love how Nightbot is working overtime, slinging Sahara pizza, and also it looks like the Mexican food truck. I love it, man. I love it. Nightbot is a gem. And by the way, I just saw that you deleted another comment. And by the way, my old man is currently alive and well. Not doing that great, but he's certainly alive and well.
Speak up. Let's play a commercial related to the pizza, since Nightbot brought it up. Senor, tell me how you make a thin crust Sahara pizza.
With your hands. Cornmeal.
while he makes that pizza. What's up, baseball fans and pizza lovers? In celebration of the start of the baseball season, we've got a home run of a deal for you. We're offering 50% off all menu. We're back from the break because Dylan Moore thinks he's got something to. He thinks he has a good reason to interrupt my commercial. Let's hope it's worth it. The 1-0.
Dylan.
And here's a fly ball foul.
Dylan. By the
Dylan,
way,
you interrupted us.
You know, Dylan, we were enjoying seeing how a Sahara pizza is made, and all of a sudden you had to ruin that by coming up to the plate and doing what you always do, which is disappointing your father.
Now here's a ground ball right to the third baseman. The throw to first in time. So I should have just played the commercial the entire through.
I think you should have.
But
By the way,
I want to batting like a 3. He was batting 3.653. So
I want to shout out. I want to shout out THFC Till I Die in the chat. That right there is a Spurs YouTube legend, Dermatron. He actually wanted the link to tonight's show to your live stream. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna hook up Rooftop here. So now we have the Mariners and Spurs, two disappointing teams that are grossly mismanaged, that are underperforming, underwhelming, and breaking the hearts of millions of fans across the globe.
Always do the 1-0. Yeah, I also work in childcare during the week, and kids will always bring up. I tell them I'm a Tottenham fan, and all they do is laugh at me. And then one kid's like, "Go Manchester United!" It's like, are you cheering for them for their name, or do you cheer for them because of Alex Ferguson?
No, because they're a front runner, right? Only like Yankee fans cheer for Manchester United or Dallas Cowboy fans. Ugh.
Yeah, but then I'll ask like half of them, like, do you know anything about of how they were built? They're like, Yeah. At least one kid was able to answer the question of knowing Alex Ferguson. It's like, okay, I'll give you that. Oh boy.
Wow. So hold on real quick. So how cool would it be if the Giants get a hit, maybe even one run? Won't happen. This game is a joke. Sports are rigged. Hey, Asian boy, are your parents mad that you fell out of med school?
I didn't even go to med school, and I had no interest in it.
That is, by the way, that is a cliche thing to say. It's like saying, all Asians are good at math, or, like, we're not like, dude, come on, man. Come on, dude. That's
it's almost worse than trolling. Attempted to, and here's a ground ball and a throw to first, and in time, but Ryan Bliss had the hustle.
I'm telling you, man.
Well, here's the thing. Look at Freeze. He got blocked by Northwest Sports Fanatics for, quote, negativity. And yet I'm still letting this guy. Oh, my God, this guy.
Love it, man. Well, I'll tell you what, man. I don't even know what to say. I'll say this, my guy, that you can live your life any which way you choose. But, if somebody chooses not to engage, then it is what it is. And at the end of the day, you're probably going to get kicked off. So cheers to you, man. And yeah, if that's the way you choose to judge people, more power to you, I guess. I don't subscribe to that theory.
Now I kind of wonder if I may have to ban him, because what if YouTube's like, hey, why are you allowing these? Yeah. Why are you allowing these kind of people to be there?
Well, but also you don't want the negative energy in your chat. You know what I mean? The guys that are in the chat are here to have a good time and talk Mariner baseball and just enjoy the banter between you and I, not put up with this piece of shit in the chat room. So it's like, you know what? You are 100% a piece of shit.
Oh,
see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? This dude's a piece of shit.
I think I got the call from the Emperor. Vader's telling me, okay, what did Palpatine say? Execute Order 66.
Yeah, it's time to get there. There you go. There you go.
Now let's watch some pizza.
Senor, tell me how you make a thin crust Sahara pizza.
With your hands. Cornmeal.
while he makes that pizza. What's up, baseball fans and pizza lovers? In celebration of the start of the baseball season, we've got a home run of a deal for you. We're offering 50% off all menu items on Mondays and Tuesdays and 25% off bowling. Don't strike out on this amazing deal. Check out our menu in the description of this video and start ordering now. Delivery is also welcome. This offer goes through April.
And that's how you make yourself pizza. Beautiful thing dress.
Are you kidding me? 50% off all menu and 25% off of bowling. I didn't even know they had bowling. But bowling's expensive, yo. So yeah, if you get 25% off, like exactly, I want that pizza as well too. That's funny because Fritz is saying it was during an all-out free fall where he was basically saying, I don't know about this lineup, and he was banished to the Shadow Realm forever. Let me tell you, my guy, there are certain Mariner channels that have a certain narrative that they follow. And if you don't follow it lock and step, these things happen. Just understand that you're not alone. And having an
narrative
opinion.
I follow? I don't have a narrative.
There you go. There you go. Steve, go for it. All right, Derma.
Willie Adames to the plate. And the pitch. Oh, hit off the umpire. Hope he's okay. Looks like he's fine. Good thing that's what the mask is for.
I like Willie
speak
Adames.
of the Irish guy. Is he an Does that mean he's an Ireland fan? And does he love Robbie? Does he know the legacy of Robbie Keane?
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And he will. And if you let him, he will talk your ear off. He loves. There's two things that he loves. Three things. Number one, he loves the Irish national team. He loves Celtic. And he also loves Tottenham Hotspur football. Those three things, yeah.
And we got a pop-up and no
He
play.
will talk your ear off.
Okay. Fun fact, 2002 World Cup, Oliver Kahn, before he gave up the 2 goals to Ronaldo, Robbie Keane was the only goal scorer against Germany's Oliver Kahn throughout the entire 2002 World Cup. And it was on an equalizer at stoppage time when the game was in Japan. And we're looking at 0-2 and the pitch. And now here's a fly ball to deep left center field, and that's going to drop in for a base hit. So it wasn't deep, but I do feel like it was something Julio could have ran for. I think Griffey would have ran for that. I think Cameron would have ran for that.
I like Willie Adames. I think he's a good ball player, but I'll say this. And because you're ahead of me on this one, I'm about to check this out in just a second. So I will either concur or not concur with your assessment about Julio not tracking in to catch that ball. So here we go. Hold on real quick. Oh, yeah. He pulled up, didn't he? He could have had that.
He could have had that one.
He could have had that one.
The pitch to Jung-Hoo Lee. And that is a strike. He was drunk watching it. I imagine also you have PTSD from 2010 qualifiers when Henry handed France the World Cup qualification spot. Oh, I probably can't even mention that. The pitch, that is low for a ball.
We just got done. We just got done doing a show, and he actually brought that up. That's funny that you brought that up. So
Ireland should have made that.
Yeah, I would agree. Shout out to Nightbot. Look at Nightbot all day long.
And the worst part of that French team is it was like a down French team. He had Nicolas Anelka out of all players on the team, who was a huge head case. He had Henry, who was pretty much meh. Will Giants win? I think so.
I think Paul Pogba, a young Paul Pogba.
No, Pogba wasn't even there.
There you go. Okay, yeah. So don't get me started. Yeah.
Here's a liner, and that's going to get over the head for a base hit. And now you got runners on first and second with nobody out. Willie Adames at second base and Jung-Hoo Lee at first base. And by the way, Jung-Hoo Lee is also the reason why I put the titles of my game in Korean, trying to get the Korean audience to watch.
I'm telling you, man. That, by the way, that was a stroke of brilliance right there by
he's got that
the Korean audience.
He's got the Ichiro style swing. He's supposed to be the Korean Ichiro.
And that's a nice little slap base hit to left field. Now,
he'll use my code if the Giants win today. Then
How
go
about-
Giants for $10.
Hey, Klein, just use it anyway, bud. What are you doing?
And now we've got Klein must be a Giants fan. Now here's Matt
I like the
Chapman in the
name.
pitch.
I
Now
like the name
here's
Klein,
foul
though.
ball.
I like his name, though. Klein's a solid name. I like that. You don't see that as the first name.
Brian Wu is still. Ooh, he's at 50 pitches, so he's not exactly efficient anymore. And it's probably because of this inning and the pitch to Chapman. Swing and a miss. And it was a nice, lazy swing and a miss. And the crazy thing is,
how about Matt Chapman's start to the season? He's 5 for 8, getting off to a good start.
do you know what's the craziest part of this lineup so far? Jung-Hoo Lee, Willie Adames, and Matt Chapman were all players the Mariners should have went for. As we're looking at 0-2.
Please don't remind me. And by the way, they were affordable too. That's the crazy part.
Well, now we got a action going on. We got Victor Robles who makes the catch. Tagging? Is it tagging? No tagging. And Jung-Hoo.
Good heads up play. Good heads up play by Victor Robles.
So Klein is a Giants fan.
Well, somebody's got to root for San Francisco.
Someone has to. And I've been
By
to
the
San
way-
Francisco twice.
I'm curious about how the Bay Area feels about the A's bolting Oakland in the East Bay.
All I
gotta
can
think,
say
you know,
is, yeah, go ahead.
I assume that diehard A's fans are broken up about this, but I'm curious about how the West Bay feels about it.
All I can say is, don't you think that a lot of people from Oakland have already bolted to Sacramento years prior? And what about Vegas? So many Californians moved to Vegas.
True. I don't
And
have
no,
the numbers in front
and
of
no
me,
one
but-
shows up. No one shows up to the Coliseum anymore for a reason. I think it's more that even when the A's are good, they won't show up. And sometimes I feel even if they had a new stadium, I don't know if they show up because Oakland isn't exactly a class.
I don't
city.
think it has anything to do with the fans or the stadium. I just don't think Oakland fans appreciated Jeff Fisher as their owner. Constantly gutting the team, trying to force his way out of town. And I think Oakland fans just decided that was enough and they weren't going to support it. And by proxy, it ended up killing the franchise.
Well, I heard they were having attendance. And by the way, my feed is kind of out right now, so I don't really have the game to follow at this time. So I just got to reset the app. So much for $19 a month.
Here's Helio Ramirez now with 1 out and 2 on. And here's the pitch from Wu.
Oh, and we got a runner scored.
And that'll be a strike on Helio Ramos.
I got up
Who
to
was-
date. It is now 2-1 Mariners. There's an RBI happened.
Yeah. Ramos, who I heard was a juvenile delinquent in the offseason. Here's the 1-1 on the way to Ramos. And that ball is going to be slapped into right field. Here's Robles charging. The throw to the plate will be not in time as is up the line, and the Giants get their first run of the ball game, and it's 2-1 Mariners. As Willie
now
Adames scores.
Now we got Triple Crown's grandson up to the plate, Mike Yastrzemski.
Yeah, you know what's funny? You said Triple Crown's grandson, and my first thought was Seattle Slew. not that Triple Crown.
Don't want to know. And my feed just keeps on. Man, I have the most advanced Wi-Fi and the best speeds, and it's still doing it. All right, so I have no idea where the game is at. We're at an 0-0 count so far.
That'll bring.
I got it.
I
still got it.
There you
The
go.
pitch. Now here's a fly ball to left field, and that is gone. That's a 3-run home run for Yastrzemski, and the Giants have now taken a 4-2 lead. That was actually just drilled out of there. And next thing you know, you blink an eye, it is now the Giants 4 and the Mariners 2.
I think Klein Den in the chat was right. I think he foresaw this. Will they come back? Of course they'll come back.
Yeah, the Giants were going to come back anyway. We all knew this was happening.
And that was a fastball at the top of the zone, 96, but it caught the best part of the plate. And Mr. Yastrzemski takes it out the opposite way. That's a 3-run Jimmy job right there. The Giants now take the lead 4-2. Good God.
Like grandfather, like grandson. And the pitch.
He ain't no Carl.
And that is a strike.
Mike ain't no Carl.
I just have to say it as a way to throw shade to the Mariners. And at this point, the way that the season's going, and we know what the personnel is, and now we got a 0-1. The way the season's going, I care more about my 100 goal than the Mariners making the playoffs at this point. Even if Mariners have a 100 loss season, I'm still going for the goal.
Well, they're 4 games behind. Things are still they're early. They've won 3 and 6. They didn't get off to the start that I hoped they would get off to, but
yeah, we're screwed. And Jorge Polanco is now out, but that doesn't really matter much.
You're screwed, Vaughn.
Yeah, if only I could say it in Japanese too. As we're looking at 1-2 for Matos. Brian Wu was pitching brilliant, but then they finally got to him, the 1-2. And here's a ground ball, and that is fouled. Yep, Klein's very happy. You know what, Klein? Game 6, 2002 World Series. Take that. That's right.
Why is Polanco out again?
Bad knees.
And wait, hold on. But didn't Jerry DiPoto say, no, he's great, man. He's the best that he's ever looked. Right?
On video.
On video.
Dude,
I look good on video. I look good on video until you meet me in person. You're like, good God, man, you've aged like vinegar. I look great, but
1-2. That is low for a ball.
I don't look that great on video.
What are we going to do?
So now we have to slog through another game where the Mariners may or may not come back.
And they're living and dying by the home run, too. As we're looking at the 2-2. Now here's a fly ball to deep center field, and Julio is there, and he makes the catch. Saved by the Marine Layer, and that's going to be 2 outs.
Saved by the Marine Layer. So I guess the Marine Layer, the Marine Layer works down in San Francisco quite well too, huh?
I mean, don't they have?
I thought it was the swirling winds of San Francisco. At least that was the excuse at Candlestick.
Yeah, I mean, Barry Bonds didn't have a problem with that.
Unreal.
That's when you know the Mariners are bad. When people have to victimize them by the stadium causes, that's when you know they're a bad team. And now here's a fly ball to center field, but Julio is just standing there.
Yeah,
and he makes the catch.
They want to win so bad that they're easily going to make an excuse for the team. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, Marine Layer, of course, Marine Layer. It's like no, dude, they're just not good.
They're just bad. Oh, but the batter's eye. It wasn't a problem for the Tigers on that Monday.
Yeah. Wasn't a problem for the A's.
Wasn't a problem for... Won't be a problem for the... As much as Yordan Alvarez is off to a bad start, he's going to get his groove back in Seattle. Remember that home run that he hit off the facade of that third deck? And we were shocked.
Do you think the Cubs will win right now? That's a good question. I don't know.
Depends who they're playing.
They're playing San Diego, and it's 7-7 in the bottom of the 8th. Let me ask you a question real quick. Do you want the Cubs to win? Because that's going to determine my answer, because I want what you want. And I don't like the Padres either. So, let's go with the Cubs.
Oh, by the way, I went to the Thunderbirds game on Friday, and they took a 1-0. They took a 1-0 lead and then got murdered 6-2.
Ooh. What are they in the playoffs?
It's playoffs. It's an 8 versus 1 seed.
Oh, who's the 8 seed?
The Seattle team versus the Tips.
Versus the Tips, huh? So is it a best of 5 or what?
Best of 7. They just did game 5 yesterday, so it's 3-2 Tips lead. So tomorrow's going to be game 6.
I'm torn, man. I'm torn. Because everybody knows that when I grew up in the South County, I was 100% a Seattle Thunderbirds fan, and I go back to the mid-'90s when Patty Marlowe was there, and I'm a big Thunderbirds fan. But then I moved up to Snohomish County, and I became kind of a little bit of a Tips fan. So I don't know which way to go on this one. On one hand, I kind of want to see the Thunderbirds progress, but that being said, I wouldn't be upset if the Tips moved on either. So, yeah, I don't know.
I like the
don't know which one
rivalry.
to-
It's actually, I think it's a very underrated rivalry. It's actually a fun rivalry. I like those.
I do
little-
too.
I like those cute little local rivalries.
I was hoping that the NHL team would actually buy the trademark of the Thunderbird, so the T-Birds would skate on NHL ice. That's what I was really hoping for. But alas, they
The Kraken.
ugh.
I don't like the name either.
I don't like the name either.
It's gonna be a swing
has
and a
nothing-
miss, strike one.
It has nothing to do with Seattle, and don't give me some myth about Kraken being in Elliott Bay. That's not a thing. I never grew up hearing about the myth of the Kraken in Elliott Bay.
Victor Robles is now working on a 1-2. The pitch and strike three call doesn't even take a swing at it, and that's going to be one out already for Julio Rodriguez. And it's going to be up to him because he did hit that home run in the first inning, but he hasn't really done anything since.
There's a dude in McCovey Cove who's riding in a gondola like you would see in Venice, Italy. That's weird.
Hey,
Yeah, he's riding in a gondola.
Julio up to the plate. And we're going to need something big out of him. Here's a ground ball, and that is going to maybe no. And how do you still not hustle that? The shortstop took like so much time to get the ball, and Julio still gets out. The lack of hustle is
dude.
very concerning.
Dude, it's not his rookie year anymore. He's a vet now. He's going to meander down to first base now.
2022 Julio would have just swiped through that.
But we ain't in 2022 anymore, bud. It's just not that. Julio, it's called hashtag priorities. He's saving himself for the marathon. And he should have easily beaten that out, by the way. Good Lord. That ball was in the dirt, too.
I got to call him out on that. It was horrible, the pitch. And that is inside for a ball. Last time up, Cal Raleigh hit a home run. He just tied the franchise record for most home runs by a catcher, joining Mike Zunino with 95. Yeah, not much competition. When at one point, your competition to beat home runs in total was Dan freaking Wilson.
Didn't Dan Wilson break Dave Valley's record for home runs as a catcher?
Probably. He had to.
Probably.
Especially
And
if
I don't
you
think
played that
Valley-
long.
And I don't think Valley hit that many either.
No.
Let's find out real quick.
But Dan Wilson, as a manager, honestly, he's not that much different than Scott Service on his strategies. The pitch. Now here's a fly ball, and that's going to drop in for a base hit. And now Cal Raleigh is a triple away from the cycle. He hit a home run, a double, and now a single.
So, by the way, Dave Valley, here it is. Dave Valley hit 72 career Mariner home runs and 318 RBI. His season high came in 1993 when he hit a whopping 13 home runs with 63 RBIs. Although that year he hit 258 with a 354 OBP. A 354 OBP? Get right out of town. Wow, Dave Valley coming strong. 1993.
When he caught for Randy Johnson.
That's correct. Well, that was the Chris Bosio year.
Yeah.
Chris Bosio was the 93 season with the no-hitter.
Brett Boone was showing a spark of power in the Kingdom.
92, because he was already traded to Cincinnati by 93.
94 was when he was traded.
94, that's right.
And he was
Okay, you're right.
ironically traded for Dan Wilson.
By the way, who was the other guy that went with Boone to Cincinnati? For Dan
Bobby
Wilson,
Ayala.
Right, no, Bobby Ayala came
Eric
back
Hansen.
with Dan. There you go.
How do I know
And
this?
I was a huge Eric Hansen guy. I thought Eric
Oh, and the
Hansen
throw to
was gonna be the
first?
second coming.
Safe. Cal Raleigh almost got himself out. But a Rose Arena has a 2-2 count on him. If I were him, just blast the crap out of it because
Randy,
you can't really trust Rayleigh and
How is that a
Pelez and
strike?
Moore to drive in a run.
how was that a strike? That ball was a foot below his knees. Good
Now
Lord,
we're looking
man.
at 2-2. The pitch. Why did you swing at that? You check swinged it, and you're out. Oh, this is disgusting to watch. It's so bad. I gotta show a softball highlight of it. It's bad.
The 2025 Seattle Mariners. I don't think it gets any worse than this.
And then, holy crap, they made it worse.
The 2025 Seattle Mariners. I guess we're here.
The 2025 Seattle Mariners. We live and die by the home run.
The 2025 Seattle Mariners. Check, swing, strikeout, strikeout for, strikeout to end.
No, I got
All
one.
right.
The 2025 Seattle Mariners. You almost hit a home run, death by foul, and then you strike out.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's
The
a statistic for that.
The 2025 Seattle Mariners being robbed by the Marine layer time after time again.
The 2025 Seattle Mariners. Let's victimize the Mariners by blaming the stadium.
It's all the stadium's fault.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Oh, but what about Edgar Martinez? What about Mike Cameron? What about Brett Boone? What about Ichiro?
Wow.
They did just fine. Nelson Cruz had his best years in Seattle.
By the way, whoa. That doesn't fit the narrative. That does not fit the narrative. Okay, we don't talk about those players that excelled and succeeded in Seattle. We talk about the players that are very much underachieving because of the stadium.
That's why, I think Jung Hoo Lee would have done great in T-Mobile because we don't need him to hit home runs. I see what you mean. They're showing it. That guy is trying to perform some kind of service.
I don't know what service he's performing, but he's doing something, man.
Maybe he actually sleeps there.
I don't know, but I don't think anybody really wants a gondola ride in McCovey Cove.
Especially when you have home runs coming your way, maybe. Especially when Barry Bonds was the hitter back then. And we are back from the break as this depressing game continues. And we got Koss up to the plate. And a swing and a miss, and that is a strike one. But yeah, my favorite. This is what?
This is depressing, man.
This is depressing. The fact that they might get swept. The pitch. Now here's a ground ball right to J.P. Crawford. Throw over the first. That is in time. I mean, at this point, with Jorge Polanco possibly missing extended time, Ryan Bliss sucking, do you call up Cole Young and Ben Williamson at this point, whether they're ready or not?
100%. Maybe Cole Young first. Maybe Cole Young first because you need it. Because you need that area of the. Well, that's not true because you probably need Ben Williamson because he's the third baseman. But that being said, 100%, man, 100%.
Because what more do you have to lose?
More games.
True. But if we're going to lose games, at least let the kids play. I'm with you. Let's let Tyler Locklear play. Give him a shot. Cole Young's batting 194, though, so I can see why they won't. The pitch.
See, and you know how much that I want this team to win. But that being said, if this means that by the time Memorial Day rolls around and this thing is already over, if that means that Jerry DiPoto is fired and gone, I'm happy. I'm happy.
It'll be worth it.
It'll be worth it. It's already we're pushing 50 years anyways. Right? So it's we're already almost there. So what's another season?
A 3-1 for Lamont Wade Jr. And now here's the pitch. Up high for a ball 4, take your base.
Now again, I want this team to win. But if it means getting rid of the cancer, I'm all for that type of chemotherapy.
Yeah. Because no one is more of a narcissist than Jerry DiPoto. And here's the thing. Why is it that the Mariners have to overpay for mediocre players, but we give away Suarez for free? And now we've got a ground ball. Here's Brian Wu. Maybe has to play throw the first in time. That's going to be 2 outs.
I'm with you, Fritz. Yeah. It might be time to let a guy like Cole Young get some cuts, or a guy like Ben Williamson. Now that Polanco is going to be out. By the way, do we know how long he's going to be out?
Doesn't say nothing timeable right now.
Yeah, so you're at least going to have a couple weeks where you might have a need at third base, unless they want to roll with Donovan Solano.
I don't.
But that being said, you have a need at that position, and now the question is do you roll with Ben Williamson at that position, or do you bring up a guy like Cole Young, or do you let Cole Young sit for a little bit and get into the season a little bit before you bring him up?
Now here's Jung-Hoo Lee, who arguably started this.
So who's
massacre.
ready to? Who do you think is ready between those two that can come up and actually potentially have an impact? Is it Young or Williamson for you?
My problem is I don't think Williamson seems to be I think he gives me quad A vibes. He really does.
That's a good call.
That's the problem. But it's like you have to do one of them. Like Cole Young, maybe give him another month, but if it gets disastrous, then screw it. Call up both of them. I don't care anymore. Plus, Jared Depoto's job, his job should have been dead as soon as they fired Scott Service. There was no point of keeping one of them around. There was no point.
Because the problem, yes, like Scott Service had a problem, but again, it goes deeper than just Scott Service. It goes to the guy that actually puts these teams together. And there's a reason why this group continues to underachieve.
Because Jerry's making garbage moves.
By the way, this was such a bad offseason. This was a really bad offseason.
This was worse than 2024 offseason by far. It was not even close.
At least they gave the fans a Christmas present with Mitch Garver. But that being said, it's like this offseason, it was like there were like no intriguing storylines this offseason. And literally it was like scrap heap reclamation project after scrap heap reclamation project. And they're like, yeah, we feel like this team is ready to compete and this, that, and the other. And it's like, really? Like, did you not see the 2024 season, or were you asleep at the wheel the entire season?
Maybe some were, as we're looking at a 3-2 for Jung-Hoo Lee.
Even when they had the 10-game lead in the division,
and nothing happening.
Like, even when they had a 10-game lead in the division, I don't think anybody was like, ooh. You know, like they're playing.
No,
great.
I was doubtful on 10-game lead. I was like, but it's not going to last.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you knew that Houston was going to get healthy and make a run. And it's,
we're looking at 3-2. Foul ball.
And then they coughed it up. And then they were terrible for like 2 months before they ultimately sacrificed Scott Service, and they got a little bit of a bump with Dan Wilson. But that being said, it's like, man, this team is so flawed.
Only to realize that Dan Wilson's strategies with pitching isn't much different, and his lineup selections isn't much different than Scott's either. The 3-2. And a foul ball again.
The 2025 Seattle Mariners still can't hit the fastball. Hey, now.
I think after this season, I think Dan Wilson and Jerry will be gone after this season. Now, if they make another
I think Jerry's going to go first, and I think whoever is hired is probably going to have to live with Dan Wilson for the remainder of the season. That would be my guess.
Oh, and a fly ball to right field. Oh, this is playable. Robles is there and makes the catch. It looked good.
Yeah, like I don't think they're going to shit can Dan Wilson because he's a quote unquote Mariner legend. I think whoever gets hired is going to inherit him, and they'll make that ultimate decision.
He won't last after this season if they get a new.
Let me ask you a question though. But let's say that Dan Wilson gets 85 wins and barely misses the playoffs. I mean, that's still technically not a terrible year. It's not a great year, but it's also not terrible.
But knowing the pool of managers that the Mariners haven't ignored, Stephen Vogt, Terry Francona, they had opportunities beyond Dan Wilson.
Man, I would have loved Terry Francona in Seattle. I still think Terry Francona should be in Seattle.
Theo Epstein
definitely needs to be in Seattle.
But does John Stanton even know who that is?
I believe he does. Yeah, I think Francona is the manager of the Cincinnati Reds. He stayed in Ohio.
Saw a wild stat. We're 0-2 when the Mariners are scoring 6 or more runs. So Mariners can't even win even with 6 runs in.
We were like 40-2 scoring 6 or more runs, and this year we're 0-2. So that means we had a 6-run lead and then coughed it up. ignore my ignorance because I've only seen a couple games so far this year, so I didn't miss. I've missed quite a bit. So you're telling me that the Mariners had 6-run leads and coughed up those leads and lost?
More than likely. I know that one of those 2 losses. Well, this year it was when they were down 6-0, so they sort of came back to make it 9-6. And then the Friday game was when they scored a total of 6 runs and lost in extras.
You score 6 runs, you should never lose. Like,
the Mariners do that.
Well, you give yourself an opportunity to win, and it's like, golly, man, how do you score 6 and lose? Well, you have a shitty bullpen. That's how you lose.
Yeah, especially when Matt Brash. I don't even know if Matt Brash coming back is going to make any kind of a difference because of the lack of depth. Now that Saucedo has been set down, the pitch to Rayleigh, he takes it like a man. He's going to take it to first base. He got hit.
Well, I think that, one of the things that people have to understand is like Brash is not going to hit the ground running, right? He's going to have to, it's going to take time to build him back up. But that being said, you also have to, he has got to develop his sharpness. Let's see. I still don't get why other teams can hit and save go. Yeah, because they're good. Because other teams have good players that can hit.
And better coaching. And now here's Rowdy Tellez, and now the pitch.
Ooh,
and now the throw to first. Yeah.
Also, the Rowdy Tellez.
Jared Apoto's like, well, he did good in 2022, and that was the year we made the playoffs. Up high for a ball. At this point, they only have what?
Who's the guy that we had in Tacoma that they had to bring up? The lefty, Mike. What's his
Mike
name?
Ford.
Mike Ford. There you go. Yeah, Rowdy Tellez gives me Mike Ford vibes.
Except Mike Ford at least connected once in a while.
Yeah, like he's gonna Rowdy Tellez is gonna hit a couple bombs and he's gonna have a couple key hits, but overall he's gonna be a crap sandwich.
I don't even know if he can even do that. You almost wish he was just a crap sandwich because right now he is less than a crap sandwich.
Who is Bucky Jacobson? You remember Bucky?
2004 MVP should have been
Bucky Jacobson.
He was the only thing worth watching in 2004, along with Justin Leone and Bobby Mastrich. The pitch.
Justin
and now here's
Bobby Mastrich
caught by the left field.
I was a left fielder. Guy. By the way,
bad conditioning though.
By the way, Rowdy Tellez just got a fastball right down the middle of the pipe, and he fouls it off.
And he just got out.
Rowdy, I guess Rowdy is quite accurate. That's an accurate name. He wants to and you know that if Dave Sims were still here, he would say something crazy like, "Oh, he wanted that one back." Yeah, like no shit, Sherlock.
Now here's Dylan Moore up to the plate.
Demo.
If I were Demo, I'd just bunt this one.
My ex-wife dunked on Demo a couple nights ago. It was great.
He deserves every bit of it at this point. 86 pitches for Jordan Hicks. That's going to be
Red Soxes or Cardinals. The Red Sox.
As we're looking at the pitch,
Never
inside for a ball.
I can't stand St. Louis. Never liked the Cardinals. And you can't expect these starters to be perfect and never get hurt year after year. No, you're 100% right, Fritz.
The starters are clearly not playing 2024 level, and it's really tragic that the Mariners wasted an entire season of brilliant starting pitching.
It's about to happen again.
I don't even know if even the starters aren't even playing that great either.
Well, you lose
George Kirby.
You lose Kirby right before the start of the season, and who knows how long he's going to be out. And it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder what Cal Raleigh, outside of the $107 million that he signed for on the extension, why he would even want to sign for after a couple years ago, at the end of the season, coming out and taking the Mariner ownership to task. It's like you knew this was not going to improve anytime soon. So why did you take the money when you knew the money was going to be available elsewhere? What made you stay in Seattle? What made you sign that extension, knowing that This is about as good as it's going to get under Devoto.
I guess he just didn't want to wait under Scott Boras.
Yeah, I think he fired Boras, didn't he?
He did fire Boras. Boras would have not taken that extension. As we're looking at 1 and 2.
I think it was just the opportunity to make $100 million.
It was. As we're looking at 1 and 2. And now the pitch. Now here's a ground ball, and that will get right through for a base hit. And are they going to third base? Nope. You're staying at second base. We got runners on first and second, and we got the lead run at home.
Fritz says one of these days Telez is going to hit 500 feet, and it's going to be glorious. Yeah, when that day happens.
If that day happens.
It's going to be glorious. I love that.
Just like Mike Ford home runs were beautiful to watch.
There you go. Shoots it right through the hole. There you go. And now the Mariners have 2 on with 1 out.
And Jordan Hicks just gets pulled out of the game. Oh, another highlight I should show.
It's fair. It's fair. There.
Double.
Look at the hustle. Was just, by the way, are these highlights recent?
No, these are from last year.
Okay.
I still haven't played a softball game yet because my games keep getting canceled because our weather is very erratic.
Tell me about it. But
Tell me something that you don't know.
Yeah, our weather has been very erratic. We actually were without power there for a good portion of last week, which was very annoying. And then there was a power surge that I think messed up my dryer. So it's been out of whack. And now today, even this morning it was raining, but now it's sunny outside. So it's kind of weird. Erratic is the best way to describe this early spring weather. So, but by the way, I appreciate the hustle. I appreciate the hustle down to second base there. Nice little shot down the left field line for you.
Yep, and I got 3 more coming. What?
By the way, did you guys end up winning that game?
I don't even remember. But
That
we got
must-
second
that-
place in the tournament.
That must have meant you lost. If you don't remember, you lost. Usually you remember the wins. You can usually say, yeah, we won like 6-0.
Jordan Hicks had 5 strikeouts, pitched 5 innings, gave up 6 hits and 2 runs. But doesn't matter because Mariners are losing.
I would like to see the Mariners get one back here. Take advantage of the runner in scoring position and get one back on the board. Get some momentum going into the second half of this ball game. I'll say this:
Especially with Julio up to the plate.
Well,
the
Giants.
It's Randy Rodriguez. It's actually Ryan Bliss.
The Giants don't have the greatest bullpen in the National League, and so this is a little bit of an opportunity here.
You would think
to erase the lead here a little bit. So
or a double play opportunity. There's a ground ball, and that will get right through for a base hit, and they are waving him home. And here's the throw to the plate, and it is not in time, and that is an RBI by Ryan Bliss.
See?
And now you got runners on second and third.
See? What did I tell you? Look at Bliss.
Maybe Bliss heard my message like, hey, you're not going to last long. You got Cole Young and Ben Williamson right behind you. And he says, F you, I got this.
Yeah, nice little shot into left field. Easily scoring a run here.
Yeah, but a good throw would have nailed Rayleigh. Rayleigh hustles. That's what you got to appreciate about him. Now here's JP Crawford.
And I like the fact that Dylan Moore with the heads-up play moving to third base right there.
What would you do on this? Yeah, would you bunt or would you try to swing for a sacrifice or swing for a hit? I think I would say bunt on this one because we got one out the pitch. Up high for a ball, 1-1.
I don't know because a fly ball still gets in a run. It ties the ball game. So in this situation with 1 out, if there were no outs, you can envision a bunt. But that being said, it is JP Crawford. So
1-2. So he might actually just strike out on this inning.
Yeah, you can't strike out in this. You can't strike out in this spot with 1 out. You're essentially killing the rally here if you strike out. So come on, JP.
1-2. Here it is. Up high for a ball. Throw to third. That is not in time. Dylan Moore stuck at third base. JP Crawford is 0 for 4 and runners in scoring position. That's why I would have called the bunt. As we're looking at 2-2. And here is the pitch. And a swing and a miss. Oh, foul ball. Woo!
It's not a bad idea, especially with the lefty. You can pull one down the first base line. And with Dylan Moore's speed, it's not a bad idea. I'll say
but
that.
Dan Wilson is not paying attention to that.
Traditionally you don't do it with one out, but that being said, with JP Crawford struggling
2-2 pitch. A swing and a miss, and he literally swung at the dirt. JP Crawford's not going to be a Mariner by next year. That's all I'm going to say. He cannot be a Mariner next year.
JP. Come on, JP. James Patrick. I don't know if that's his actual name, but
I forgot what it is already.
Yeah.
Well,
JP, come on, buddy.
He made himself forgettable. Now here's Victor Robles up to the plate, and we're pretty much doomed. And now the pitch. Low for a ball. You can't
strike out in that situation. Good Lord, you can't strike out in that situation.
He's got to go. JP's proving himself out of this team. We got Cole Young. He can take your spot.
And that's right there is a slider in the dirt. That's a fishing for a strikeout pitch, right? That needs just a little bit more maturity right there. It's like you can't swing. You can't flail with one out with two in scoring position.
You just can't. As we're looking at 1-1 for Victor Robles. And now the pitch.
Knows that.
And he swung it right on the inside. That's going to be 1-2. And the Mariners are on the verge of leaving 2 men on base. It's going to make me forget about the 1 run they scored. And that 1 run was by accident.
They accidentally got a base hit with runners in scoring position.
Yes. As we're looking at 1-2 for Victor Robles, they're in danger of leaving 2 men on base.
Victor's
ready. Pitcher is set. And the pitch.
Oh,
and low for a ball. He actually didn't chase it.
Victor. Klein, I don't want to hear it, Klein.
It's going to happen. Don't worry. It's the Mariners. On deck is Julio. As we're looking at 2-2. And now the pitch. And now here's a fly ball to left field. And that is caught by the left fielder.
Imagine had Julio, not Julio, but imagine JP had not struck out in that situation. That's the tying run.
Yeah, give me a moment. This is frustrating.
We just got an order.
While he makes that pizza, what's up baseball fans and pizza lovers? In celebration of the start of the baseball season, we've got a home run of a deal for you. We're offering 50% off all menu items on Mondays and Tuesdays and 25% off bowling. Don't strike out on this amazing deal. Check out our menu in the description of this video and start ordering now. Delivery is also welcome. This offer goes through April.
Don't strike out on that offer, but chances are pretty good.
Yeah, but JP Crawford would have struck out on that.
Like JP Crawford, he strikes out. You don't miss out on these deals, I'm telling you, because you know what? When you look at that pizza and you look at that finished product, that looks absolutely delicious. Give Sahara Pizza a try. The menu is in the description, and Nightbot's got your back in the chat as well too if you're looking for it. So,
Nightbot, perfect timing.
Yeah, Nightbot is on it, man. Even Nightbot knows that you can't strike out in that situation. Nightbot knows. Nightbot knows everything.
Nightbot knows. But that's just, I was like, what happened to the butt Dan Wilson guy? It seems that Scott Service may have murdered him and took his spot.
Yeah. Traditionally you don't squeeze with one out. Because you do run yourself into a double play, so you don't necessarily want to do that. But that being said, it's like because the one thing you don't want to do is drop a bunt and push it to the pitcher, because that is a guaranteed double play, right? So if you are going to do it, you want to make sure that you bunt it down the first baseline deep. But that being said, it's like, I understand the reasoning why they wouldn't put down a bunt. But that being said, if that's the case, then you actually have to make contact. You cannot strike out in that situation. What's up, Ian?
Ian, he is here. And I forgot to give shout out to Freeze for donating once again. He's been carrying this YouTube channel, as we're looking at 1-1 to Matt Chapman. And the pitch.
Matty C.
Ground ball foul. The one who the Mariners could have gotten after losing Suarez.
Matty C.
But until John Stanton sells this team to an actual good owner, we're going to be dealing with this for a long, long time, if not eternity.
It'll only feel like an eternity.
The 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Down he goes.
Down he goes. I like Matt Chapman.
Yeah, a lot of missed opportunities on those runs.
Well, I'm glad you're doing all right. But that being said, I agree with the frustration, because it is frustrating. But the Mariners did actually get a run back, so they cut the lead in half. So they're still within striking distance on this one. But yeah, I'm 100% with you. I wanted Chapman as well too. That would have been
Chapman,
a great pickup.
Jung-Hoo Lee, Willie Adames.
Who's the guy from Chicago? The outfielder, Bellinger.
Should have gotten Bellinger because the Yankees got him for basically nothing.
Astros comeback of the century. Really, don't you think that might be
fielded by Dylan Moore to throw to first in time? Just to think Dylan Moore is actually our best third baseman says a lot in a bad way. Yeah, Yordan Alvarez, he hit a home run for my fantasy team, so I'm happy about that.
There you go. I'm just saying, it's like, to say that it's the comeback of the century when there's been probably bigger comebacks, but I'll just say congratulations to the Houston Astros on erasing a large lead and getting a W.
And the pitch to Yastrzemski, who hit the
Nice
home
play.
run last time, and
Nice
that
play
is
down.
a strike.
Nice play in the hole there by Dylan Moore for the second out.
Splash hits 105. I wonder if that's like in history. The pitch, and that is inside for a ball.
Nice pick. Nice pick there by Rayleigh at first base too. Here's Yastrzemski. He hit the 3-run shot that has the Giants in the lead.
And the pitch. And there's a ground ball foul. And that 105 splash hits is in history, but we would assume that quarter of those are owned by Barry Bonds. And the fact that those happened in like 3 years is like impressive.
Yeah, Bonds is the man. I don't care what anybody says, man.
Steroids or not, he is still one of the best in baseball.
Yeah, Barry, like he is the all-time home run king.
1-2. And that is strike 3 called, and that's going to retire the side. An easy 1-2-3 inning for Brian Wu. He's at pitch 89, so you would think that that's going to be his last inning. So they'll go to the bullpen in the 7th, but the Mariners have got to get some runs in. Otherwise, until then, I will show off.
They did it against the Twins. Come on, Josh. It's the Twins.
The Twins, who strike out a ton. That really hurt. It hurt. Oh, but that was the game. I think we did win that game. So what happened was that guy in the green who was the pitcher, he was up. He was bombing my pitches. So we had like a 1-run lead. He fouled one of my first pitches, so he got a strike 2 because the rule is if you pitch a ball, if you walk a guy on consecutive pitches, it's an automatic double. So what I did after the first strike, I intentionally walked him. And everyone looked at me like, my teammates were like, wait, what is he doing? Why did he do that? And then the other team was like, oh, man, what a coward. So the girl gets up. I got the 3rd out. And then my teammates were like, oh, I get it. but it was perfectly legal. Some would say I gray lined it.
Hey man, I like the strategy. You know, Josh said Bonds has the balanced breakfast. Honestly, he did it because he wanted the attention that Sosa and McGuire got. Yeah, probably. But if you ask me, I think Bonds did it. I think Bonds did it better. Don't get me wrong. McGuire and Sosa were the first. They technically saved baseball, but Bonds did it with a lot more flair.
Ken Griffey Jr. was in that race too, but then something happened in August of '98 where he just disappeared.
He became human. And by the way, I think Junior finished with like 58 that year. Like he still had a phenomenal year.
56.
56. Yeah, he had a phenomenal year. 56 bombs in a season is just unbelievable.
Second straight season he hit 56.
Yeah, was 56. Yeah, it's still an incredible feat, man. He finished 5 away from Maris. That's still an unbelievable achievement.
And now here is Julio Rodriguez with a fly ball right to center field, and that is caught.
Yeah, he gets lost in the sauce though because of McGuire and Sosa. But that being said, it's still pretty goddamn awesome. There were also juice baseballs during that era, yeah, along with juice bats and juice.
Do you think Griffey was clean?
Yeah.
Do you think Edgar was clean?
No.
I think we can agree to that. He needed steroids to get back from his injuries as a third baseman. The pitch, that's a swing and a miss.
I think there were no rules preventing players from doing it, and I think that they took some of them that were dealing with a lot of injuries, understood the healing properties that steroids gave them. But that being also said, I also wonder about Jay Buhner, and I also wonder about a few other players as well too. Yeah, I wonder a little bit about it. Because if you remember Jay Buhner, and you looked at Jay Buhner all the way up until like 93, and then in 94, it was like 94 through like 96 where he just went absolutely
ground ball to second base, and that's going to be straight out.
He went Super Saiyan for like 3 years.
Yeah, 40 home run, 3 straight season, 40, 44, and 40, 95, 96, and 97. And then all of a sudden, 98, his body just broke.
Yeah, his body broke. Yeah, but that being said, it was, that the funny thing about the steroid era is that a dude like Jose Canseco, who was blackballed, was the one that ended up telling the entire truth throughout the entire process. And that's the thing. It's like when he essentially says that 90% of the game was on some sort of performance enhancing drug, you kind of have to believe it.
Yeah, and there's people still doing it. 2020 was the quiet steroid year too, because drug testing wasn't done because of COVID. Yeah, what's funny is, Canseco was saying something about how, like, in the 90s, they actually did do random drug testing, but nobody cared. Like, even if they tested positive, it was much to do about nothing. Owners didn't care. The owners actually liked it because fans wanted to come out and see it. And the pitch, and a ground ball right to third base, throw to first. He ain't hustling, and he's out of there.
I think Biggio was clean. I think Jeter was clean as well too. I think there were a lot of guys who just were awesome that didn't need it, but I think a lot of guys definitely did it. Like a guy like Ken Caminiti, 100%, and of course he admitted it before he passed away.
Sadly. And now we are in the bottom of the 7th inning. It's stretch time. We've got Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jacks. I don't care if I ever get back, so let's root for the Mariners. If they don't win, it's a shame. They already lost, so it is a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikeouts and probably 12 more in the old ball game, because that's what we do. Louie, Oh
Whoa,
no, we gotta go now. Yeah. We suck.
By the way, I think that the biggest result from a steroid user, and I still think this is very true, that I can remember that was just a huge, obvious red flag was Brady Anderson. Do you guys remember Brady Anderson?
50 home runs in 96 and went all the way back down to 18 and 97.
Oh.
How did they not catch that?
Yeah, and that's the thing, is Ian's right, but the steroid era was fun. And that's exactly right. And that's the thing. It's like if you look at it for what it was the era of just juggernaut offenses, but also juggernaut pitching. And because of it, Major League Baseball is where it is because off the backs of the stars of the steroid era. Players benefited from it because of the salaries took a massive jump, but owners also benefited from it as well too. It was mutually beneficial for both sides to have steroids in the game, and and for Major League Baseball to turn its back. That to me was like the biggest hypocrisy in professional sports.
You know what's the biggest red flag? How about Robbie Cano, who never hit more than 33 home runs with Yankee Stadium, very hitter-friendly ballpark, then goes to T-Mobile, and in 2016 he hits nearly 40.
Yeah.
I thought that was an obvious red flag. And all the Mariner fans were like, no, he would never take steroids. And then we got suspended. The excuses that the Mariner fans made was ridiculous. And even Verlander pointed it out. And I was like, yep, Verlander, you're right. We are making excuses for him. I didn't. I literally hammered Cano for that.
What's funny though is it didn't surprise me. It didn't surprise me when some players are willing to gamble, and if you're willing to take that chance, okay, you're gonna face the consequences that come with it. And to me, this wasn't what's his bucket, Fernando Tatis Jr. that used it to recover from his injury. Because if you remember, Fernando Tatis Jr. got popped soon after, and he dealt with that ankle injury for a few seasons, and so he took a gamble to recover from his injury. That's one thing. But then you're talking about Robbie Cano, who needed to stay in the spotlight. That's something completely different. But the best to me was Rafael Palmeiro. That to me was the best.
I never took steroids. How dare you?
I want to repeat. I did not take steroids. Period. And then two weeks later, he's been suspended for 80 games.
Oh, Palmeiro. Did he actually get suspended for 80 games?
Yeah, he was suspended, man. And what's so great about
Rafael Palmeiro suspension?
What was so great about it was his excuse because he thought it was a vitamin B shot. And it's like, come on, man.
It was a 10-game suspension, so that's nothing.
There you go.
Got 2-1 for Matos, and got Carlos Vargas, the guy off the Eugenio Suarez trade.
I think he was one of only 4 guys to finish his career with 3,000 hits and 500 ding-dongs.
And Dylan Moore, wow, the ball just popped out of Dylan Moore's glove. Pathetic. This game is pathetic.
So Pittsburgh beats the Mets 5-4-11. The Mets beat Toronto 2-1. Detroit all over the White Sox today. Philly beats the Dodgers 8-7.
How'd the Angels do?
You gotta love these guys.
You gotta hate these guys.
So San Diego beat Chicago. Texas beat Tampa. Houston beats Minnesota in 10. KC all over Baltimore.
You know what? I'm still waiting. I'm still surprised Mariners haven't made their new "You Gotta Love These Guys" from last year and talk about how great their starting pitching really was. Just like in '96, they were glazing all over how great their '96 offense was, but they didn't even mention it once that their bullpen and their starting rotation was awful.
Good God, Dylan Moore.
The pitch.
Good God.
And that is a strike. The fact that Carlos Vargas is on his team, it makes it more painful. I think if Carlos Vargas continues to pitch bad, I think he'll get booed no matter what. And it's mostly going to be because he's the trade piece out of Eugenio Suarez. And if Carlos Vargas, out of that Eugenio Suarez trade, I would think that Vargas was going to be another second coming of a great pitcher, but he's not. He already showed his red flags in the minors.
Not yet, but yeah, you're absolutely right. I actually tend to agree with you. I think a lot of people.
Oh, here's a throw to second, and it's wide.
I think a lot of Mariner fans aren't going to be willing to give him a try because he was a part of that package.
Well, I'd give him the boo just because of the package and that.
Yeah,
there's that
that's my
expectation.
point.
Yeah,
there's that expectation. Yeah,
just
Pettit
like
is-
Abraham Toro. I remember I said something ridiculous like, unless Abraham Toro is a guaranteed 40 home run hitter, we got robbed in this trade.
Mariner fans are delulu. Yeah. Brian Clemens blamed his
Who's
wife for
more
taking rights,
delusional,
yeah.
Mariner fans or Brittany Griner when she said she could beat DeMarcus Cousins one-on-one? And we're talking prime Cousins.
Brittany Griner.
No, I still think it's Mariner fans.
Well, we're also talking about a woman that decided to bring weed to Russia. You know what I mean? And thinking everything was going to be okay.
Oh, and then we traded the Merchant of Death for Brittany Griner.
That's
Biggest
a good trade, man. That's a good trade.
For Russia, it's a great trade.
It was a great trade. And
Swing
we
and
get
a
a
miss,
player.
strike 3.
And the U.S. got a player to be named later in the deal.
She was very drunk in Russia. Yeah, probably. WNBA, they're speculating that they could go on strike.
I'm telling you, man, she was after that Russian Putinani. Those hot Russian chicks out there, man. That's why she was out there. Clearly, Russia robbed us in that trade. I know. That was what Frank Robinson for. What was that deal? Frank Robinson for. Oh yeah, dude, that was Felix Rabin for Omar Vizquel, man. We got fleeced.
I think it was worse than that.
What was it? The Frank Robinson for. Hold on. What was that trade? It was one of the worst trades in baseball.
Willie Adames, who the Mariners should have gotten in free agency. 1-1 by Vargas.
And for Milt Pappas. Yeah, Frank Robinson for Milt Pappas. There you go.
What about Josh Fields for Yordan Alvarez?
That's pretty bad too. What was also a bad trade? Oh yeah, Rafael Soriano for
Horacio Ramirez.
Horacio Ramirez.
And Rafael Soriano was the best bullpen pitcher.
How about Sinshu Chu for Ben Broussard?
How about Asdrubal Cabrera for part-time designated hitter Eduardo Perez? The 2-1.
I love it.
Now here's a ground ball right to JP Crawford. Throw it over the first. That is in time, and that is out number 3. Carlos Vargas got out of a slight jam. Mariners are running out of time, though. They got 6 outs to go.
How about Eric Berdard for the cachet of players that the Orioles ended up getting?
Chris Tillman, George Sherrill, and Adam
Cam
Jones.
McKicklio.
That was Cam McColio.
Whatever. You know who I'm talking about.
Yes. It was bad. And we all know how that Eric Berdard trade ended up.
I'm telling you, though, they get the Merchant of Death back, and we get Brittany Griner.
What kind of trade is that?
Ruth to the Yankees for $100K.
Remember, the previous administration before that, he didn't have to pay anything to get LiAngelo Ball out of China. He didn't have to pay a dime for that. He basically says, give me my basketball player back, or I'll screw you in the trade deal. And then they're like, okay, yeah, you can have them. And take the sunglasses you stole.
But we didn't need LiAngelo Ball back.
You know what was crazy? I actually made my prediction back then was I said Lonzo Ball was going to be like the standard star. And I said LiAngelo was going to be a bust. And I said LaMelo was either going to be a total flameout or he was going to be an absolute superstar. That was my initial predictions.
It was who was the Ball brother that played for the Hornets?
That's LaMelo.
LaMelo Ball.
He's the best one.
So and Lonzo was the first, right? So
yeah.
So he was it was the Ball brother that played for New Orleans that was the best of 3.
No, you mean Hornets, Charlotte. He is the best.
Yeah.
Lonzo just gets hurt a lot, and some say it's because of his daddy's shoes. Because his daddy's shoes were really bad.
Dude, I don't give a shit. It's the NBA. Who cares? I'm sure there's
Weird.
people in the chat that care, but it's the Ball brothers. Total flameouts. And by the way, it's the same people that predicted Lonzo Ball was going to be the second coming were the same people that thought Jeremy Lin was going to be the second coming.
I thought that too.
Same. Yeah, I bet.
Oh, here's Donovan Solano. He's pinch hitting.
Donovan.
Les, and he swings and misses like garbage.
Oh, yeah, that's a bad trade, too. Chris Archer.
Donovan Solano's taking over for Luke Rayleigh, which I'm kind of puzzled by.
In other news, in MLS news, San Diego are very hot. Yeah, I know. I know they are, bud. San Diego FC, dig it.
Donovan Solano is taking over because of matchup reasons, which I still don't agree with because I don't think Solano's going to do any better. And the pitch outside for a ball, unless he has that NL experience that might carry him. I don't know. And also 15 viewers so far. I really like it. Like last year, I was like maybe okay with like getting 5, but now I'm like consistently getting over 10. The pitch. And that is low for a ball, 2-1, which is why I'm still going for that 100 goal. And you did hold me to a high account that it's either all game or no game count. And
I will say that, you know, for the Sounders, you know, getting injured the way that they got injured early in the season didn't necessarily help. But that being said,
does Jordan Morris make the U.S. team for 26? He's not at that level at all, isn't he? Nowhere near like Pulisic.
Well, no, but I will say that he made the 2022
ground ball right over the third base. Chapman. He drops the ball, and Mariners catch a break, and they got Solano at first base.
There you go. Like Jordan. It's weird because Jordan does fit a role, but that being said, with the fact that the World Cup is being played on U.S. soil, it's a tough one, man. I think he can fill a role, but I just don't see Pochettino. Pochettino hasn't even called him into a camp yet, so I just don't see it.
South Korea is an absolute disaster with their 2 ties against Oman and Jordan. And I think my point of
here's the crazy thing though. Jordan Morris set a career high for personal goals last season with 15, so he was on fire last year. If he's not even getting called into camps for friendlies. So,
Mitch Garver to the pitch. Mitch Garver's pinch hitting.
Mitchell.
He's taking over for Rowdy Tellez, who was 0 for 3.
We should not have gotten rid of Haniger. The better of the two Mitches.
And the 1-0. And that is a ball for Mitch Garver.
Remember when Mitch Haniger was good?
2021, 2018. And remember whenever he was healthy too. He was one of the forces.
Like it was yesterday.
He does. The 2-0. And that's going to be a strike for Mitch Garver. And
last year, Mitch Garver hit a $172. Woo!
With 15 home runs. As we're looking at 2-1 for Mitch Garver.
2-run shot, Mitch. 2-run shot.
And now the pitch. And that gets in there for a strike. It was below the zone, but you figure that the umpire was going to call one of those.
At least Edgar didn't need a trash can. Boom!
I think the Mariners... Where's their torpedo bats that they ordered?
The Mariners would still figure out a way to swing through fastballs with torpedo bats.
They would, because those bats don't guarantee squat. You actually have to hit the ball. I was looking at 2-2.
Here comes the Astro fans defending the trash can banging. Here he comes.
Oh, here. This is for you, Josh. We're looking at 3-2 for Mitch Garver. And now the pitch. And that's a foul ball. Oh, come on. Don't give Josh such a hard time. He's actually one of my best fans on this YouTube channel. So don't give it to him too much.
There was actually reports that like Altuve was one of like the main guys that were in on the whole banging
3-2.
the trash cans.
And now here's a liner, and that's going to get right through for a base hit. And we're going to get Solano at second base and Mitch Garver at first base. Sadly, all of them are slow-ass runners, though.
Yeah. He, out of all of them, benefited most from the can. Yeah. Yeah.
Man, let's just focus on this Mariners game.
Hey,
But it
by the
could be
way,
worse.
was Josh Reddick on that team?
I think so.
That was my guy, man. Nice little base hit. Nice
Josh
little base
Reddick.
hit.
He was an outfielder. He's 38 years old. Where'd all the time go? My God.
Man, I was all about those like obscure A's. You know, like at one point, Nick Swisher was my guy. I was a big Swisher guy. Josh Reddick was another one of those guys.
I think I was either a Tejada guy or a Chavez guy.
You know who my guy was out of all of them? Out of all those obscure A's that came up through that system? You remember
What?
Eric Sogard?
Sort of.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. I was all about Eric Sogard, man. The guy that always wore the glasses.
The A's nearly blew that division, nearly blew the playoffs for 2014, but then the Mariners blew it even harder as we're looking at 1-1 to pitch to Dylan Moore, and that gets in there for a strike.
Dude, yeah, the Mariners know something about blowing.
As we're looking at 1-2. This is a big chance for the Mariners to grab a lead. Now here's the pitch, and that is popped up. And that might as well just be an infield fly rule.
In the
Makes the
bullpen
catch.
for San Francisco is Trevino. Yep, Sogard, the math teacher.
And now we've got, who is after Dylan Moore? I think it's Ryan Bliss.
It's all good. It's all good, Josh. You still get the ring. You still get to call it a championship. Even though Major League Baseball swept another rug and slapped everybody on the wrist and then used a manager as a scapegoat, you still get the ring. You still count it, bud.
And you only lost like a mid-draft pick. Woo.
Yeah, the Major League Baseball swept another rug. No players got in trouble. You can still count it, bud. You don't need to defend it hard. We're giving you a hard time, bud.
If the Major League Baseball wanted to make an example, they should have done exactly what the NBA did to the Timberwolves, was stripping 3 first-round picks. That's what they should have done if they were really all about accountability.
Yeah,
and
you
strip
not only just 3 first-round picks, you do it for 3 straight years.
Yeah, because the
Boom!
Timberwolves had some weird love for Joe Smith. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was all over Joe freaking Smith. The 0-1. And now here's a ground ball. Give me a double play ball. Throw to second and throw to first. Okay, no. Senor, tell me how you make a thin crust Sahara pizza.
With your hands. Cornmeal.
While he makes that pizza, what's up, baseball fans and pizza lovers? In celebration of the start of the baseball season, we've got a home run of a deal for you. We're offering 50% off all menu items on Mondays and Tuesdays and 25% off bowling. Don't strike out on this amazing deal. Check out our menu in the description of this video and start ordering now. Delivery is also welcome. This offer goes through April.
And that's how you make pizza. Beautiful thing,
Damn, that looks good. That looks really good, man. Let me tell you, Sahara pizza, man. Now you make me really want Sahara pizza. I can't get no Sahara pizza because I don't live anywhere near Sahara.
Well, when you come to Seattle, that's where you know where to go.
Josh, come on, man. You step up to defend Altuve like somebody disrespected your mom or something like that. You know what I mean? It's like, dude, Altuve definitely benefited from the trash can, but you can't deny it.
You know, deep down, Josh is really enjoying he's really enjoying all of this. You know, Josh had to take his spot. He had to take the Gossip Boys spot.
Ian is coming in hot, man. I've never seen one fan base step up for that midget bum. I generally know he cheated. Just got to take it. Like I do with A-Rod. Love him, but he used different roids in his career, 100%. I'll bring you one when I fly out.
Oh, they just won't start. They just won't stop using Edward Bizzardo. They love him. He has like the Bobby Ayala treatment, I swear.
He's getting run. Oh, yeah? You're coming out to Detroit in 2 weeks, huh, bud? Yeah, let me know, man.
What, Sahara Pizza?
Dude, if he brings me a Sahara Pizza...
He better freeze that thing.
Telling you what, man. He's got a friend for life. He's got a friend for life.
Yeah, can we please DFA Bizzardo? Yeah, he has no value to this team. You know, I'll be honest. The way this team's just unwatchable. And I said last year's team was unwatchable. This is worse.
It's pretty bad.
Oh, man. Great. We got Miles
Masterboni?
And here's the pitch. And that's a strike.
Even the home plate umpire is shaking his head like, are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me? This
home plate umpire is like, yeah. Home plate umpire is like, yeah, I get it, man. You know, I know I get paid handsomely to do this, but even this is unwatchable. Also, Steve, what do you think of Saucedo? Does he get brought back up at some point? Yeah.
Oh, probably. There's Adames. I was gonna say no, but I don't know.
By the way, who did they bring up when they sent him down? Who did they bring up?
Some no-namer.
Okay. I swear to God, Eduardo Bizzardo has something on Dipoto. That's the only reason that I can think. Like maybe Bizzardo caught him in a compromising situation and it has the photos on backlog. Like if you say anything, bud, if you do anything except for play me.
Also, thank Mariners for Montero. He played I know. And he also hit Julio. What an ass.
Han, the old guy. Okay.
As we're looking at 2-2 for Adames, the pitch. And out of all pitchers, you put in Adames. No, you put in Bizzardo on a 2-3-4. Yeah, good thinking, Danny boy. Or unless this is Jerry Dipoto's idea.
Yeah, I the thing about Sauce, man, is he is valuable. It's just, he's all about control, man. He's got to be like pinpoint where he's not going to be effective. Sauce is he's a pro, man. He'll get it together. Or maybe not. So. What do I know? Yeah, but this is, I don't know, man. See, here's the thing, and again, I'm always rooting for my teams to win. But
if you're looking at 2-2 for Adames, the pitch. Here's a ground ball right to Masterboni.
Jesse Hahn.
Go to first. And that is in time.
But if the Mariners are done by Memorial Day, and that means Jerry Dipoto gets fired, I am willing to eat the first half of the season in order for that to happen.
There's one little problem. Who is Stanton going to hire? Is he going to hire some other loser assistant out of a general manager, or is he going to hire some other yes man? Is he going to let Justin Hollander take the job, or he already has the job, so he has to be fired too?
He has to be fired too.
Because Hollander is basically no different. He could be worse.
Yeah. Is Stanton going to hire another yes man? Well, that is yet to be seen. Although you can back up the Brinks truck to a guy like Theo Epstein to turn over baseball operations.
He doesn't know who that is. I can guarantee you that. He won't even take the care and attention for it. He's going to use that whole ownership with Fenway Park. He's going to use that as an excuse to get out of it.
I'm just saying, it's like,
you have a 1-2
versus. I'm sure he can break a third. I got it in him to break a third.
We're not breaking curses. We're breaking incompetence.
I think he's got it on his to-do list to break a third. I think he's got it in him. But you're right, though. It's not a curse. It's just
Swing and a miss,
mismanagement.
strike 3. Bizardo gets a strikeout out of Jung-Hoo Lee.
Boom. See? He's not completely useless. Yes, he is.
Did you see the Nintendo Switch 2? Yeah, it's over the heck price, and they didn't really do anything to innovate, so I'm skipping it. I'm still keeping this baby.
So wait a second. They came out with a second Switch?
Yep. And it's over and the games are like $80 to $100.
Mm.
And yet people are still gonna simp and buy it. I'm skipping.
Wait a second. So you're saying simps also come in the form of video gamers?
Yes. Just like
interesting.
Madden simps.
Madden simps? I thought they were just Madden truthers, but I guess a simp comes in different forms, I guess.
0-2 for Matt Chapman. So surprisingly, Bizardo's been pitching not terrible. As we're looking at 0-2. And now the pitch. And should have been strike 3. Didn't happen. It was right on the outside.
I'm more of a video game trad guy. I'm a tradder. I'm more of a traditional console guy.
Console guy.
So I'm a PlayStation guy, so I got the PS5.
So you a Metal Gear guy too?
No.
We're looking at 2-2 for Bizardo.
The question is do I get MLB The Show 25?
No.
That's the question.
No, it's got bad reviews.
Yeah, okay.
3-2 for Matt Chapman. I think he had an 0-2 count on him, and now.
But it's the same. It's the same every year.
Hot take, Julio walk-off. We're at San Francisco. We can't do a walk-off. 3-2. Ground ball foul.
It's the same, right? I got 24. I got MLB The Show 24, and I play with the X from time to time. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to get 25.
3-2. Ground ball foul again. And after this inning,
I did like the touch of the Kingdom in 24. I thought that was pretty cool.
After this inning, it will be J.P. Crawford, Victor Robles, and Julio Rodriguez.
Championship.
World Series, baby.
Mario Kart World is $80. Can get it with the Switch 2 for $50. $500 total, and the new DK game is I still think, by the way, Julio walk-off triple play. I still think $500 for the game, for the console and a game is ridiculous.
Really is. We're looking at 3-2.
I remember like
now the pitch.
When like the PS4 came out, it was like $350.
The PS3 started out as $599.
Did it really? I can't remember.
Because they were trying to, they actually marketed it as a cheap Blu-ray player. It was considered a cheap Blu-ray player.
That's right.
So technically the pricing was technically revolutionary. The pitch, because PS3 was running on Blu-ray, and at the time Blu-rays were like over 1,000. So PS3 were onto something. They were at first they're like, what? $600? Oh, but it's a Blu-ray player.
Sadly, the state of the market once the door for $70 per game was opened. Yeah, the games are expensive, man.
It's not even worth
it. That's why I generally wait until Black Friday.
And that's ball 4, take your base.
So like when a new game comes out, like I'll give you a good example, like when the new FIFA comes out like in August, September, I'll generally wait till Black Friday to get it for $20.
Pete Woodworth is not coming out. You know what's crazy? It's been longer from PS3 now than from the Sega Genesis to the PS3.
Sega.
My friend who recorded the voice announcements for the April 12th lineup against Texas said Locklear is on the list. On the list. You mean against Houston? So you think Rowdy Tellez might be gone by then, huh?
Rowdy Tellez. Here comes Pete Woodworth.
Also, post-game show will be after this game. Locklear, no word yet.
It's going back to the early 90s when SNES and Genesis games were like $70, $90 a game. Yeah.
I didn't think of that.
But that being said, man, you were either one or the other. You were either a Nintendo guy or a Sega guy. And I'm proud to say that I was 100% a Sega guy.
Even with the add-ons, the failed add-ons?
I didn't say I was like a Sega CD guy. I just said I was a Sega Genesis guy.
As we got a play to Master Boney, he throws out the second base.
$59 for Mario Kart 64. Yeah. Mario Kart, the original Mario Kart was awesome with Rainbow Road. It was awesome.
Yeah, Rainbow Road, you're guaranteed to fall. And you know what? I got to show this video. Maybe it's funny. Maybe get a laugh out of it for the state of the Seattle Mariners.
My point is it's across all Seattle sports. It's this idea, like people pleading 3-4 years ago to bring back Ichiro. When Ichiro was like 93 years old. I'm like, no, I do not want to bring back Ichiro. Like Griffey when he's got a walker out there and he gives you a single every 60 games. Like the list goes on and on. Like people crying, like Haniger comes back and you think that we just signed a Hall of Famer. Like he was injured all of last year. He's like 33 years old. We trade for him, give up on Robbie Ray, which whatever. And all of a sudden, I swear, all of Twitter is like, World Series, baby! Let's go! Let's go! He was a negative WAR player for them last year, but because we love Hanny, baby, he's going to come and save the Mariners.
None of that.
By the way, we do love some Hanny. He's not lying about that, but that was pretty appropriate.
Yeah, as we go to the top of the ninth inning with J.P. Crawford, Victor Robles, and Julio Rodriguez.
By the way, who was your best racer on Mario Kart? Was it Mario or for me it was Toad.
I was dibs on Yoshi all day.
Toad was the best. But yeah, getting back to that video, which was a great video. Yeah, it really highlights the delusion of Mariners fans. And the funny thing about it is for guys like you and me who were kind of just sitting on the sidelines watching it unfold. I think
pain.
It was funny, the fact that, DePoto failed to capture the momentum of 2022 and he failed miserably. Like he caught lightning in a bottle. They ended the playoff drought. Okay, good for you. How do you build off that momentum? And his answer was Tommy LaStella and AJ Pollock and Cooper Hummel. Like that was the momentum.
He was still trying to moneyball the thing.
I don't even think that's Moneyball. I think that's just
stupid ball.
No, I think that what that is just being cheap.
Yeah, as we got J.P. Crawford, he's actually ahead of the count.
Duval,
I think he's the closer.
Yeah, he is the closer. Coffees for closers.
And that is a strike. Man, JP's got to swing at something that's actually good, and he never does. But he'll swing at a crap one, right?
By the way, it was in MLB The Show 22 that I traded for Camilo Duvall.
2-1. Now here's a ground ball right to second base, toss over the first in time, and the Mariners are down to just 2 outs left.
Yeah, I traded for Camilo Duvall in MLB The Show 22 because I had an open spot in the bullpen, and so I had Duvall play half a season with the Tacoma Rainiers, and he was their best reliever. So I brought him up to the bigs, and he was lights out.
You got Victor Robles to the plate. And the stretch.
JP.
And the pitch. Here's a ground ball. And that gets right through for a base hit. And now the tying run is on first base with Victor Robles getting on base.
Victor, let's see. You know what? Let's see the Mariners put this game in motion. I understand that's a risk, but it's a risk worth taking. Let's see some speed on the base paths.
Let's steal a base, right?
He's got the dumbest batting stance ever too. Victor Robles.
I guess so, yeah. Oh, shout out to Freeze again, still donating some money. Everyone else want to join? You shall.
Look at
We got
Fritz.
Julio Rodriguez up to the plate.
Julio.
And
Let's go,
now the
Julio.
pitch. Now here's a ground ball, and that's going to advance the runner, and the Mariners are down to that final out because Julio, that was pathetic.
Swinging for the fences.
And Mariners are down the final out, and you got Cal Raleigh up to the plate. I don't know if I can trust him, though.
Dude, Julio wants to play hero ball so bad. He just wants to be the guy. So he's going to swing at any piece of garbage.
Which he just did. And that may cost the Mariners. And now we got Cal Raleigh up to the plate. He is the last lifeline for the Mariners.
Let's go, Cal. Shake and bake. Shake and bake.
Post-game show will be after this game. Cal Raleigh has hit. He is a triple away from the cycle, so maybe an RBI triple could be done on this. And they took the bat. They took the bat away from him. They took the bat away from him.
Yep.
And now you got Randy. It's smart because we know that Randy Arozarena ain't gonna do shit.
So with first base open, they put Cal on, setting the table for one Randy Arozarena.
Who is 0 for 8 on runners in scoring position. Now that's efficient analytics right there. They're paying attention to that.
Yeah. Randy's 0 for the century with runners in scoring position. Can
He's
he
got
break
several foul tips and the pitch?
Yeah, can he get off the schneid?
But he got a foul tip. And that's a strike one. Fans are up on their feet. They are waiting for this game to be over. And yeah, they should, because this game is pretty much over unless Arozarena can get off of his doubt. Looking at 0-1.
He's over for 3 strikeouts and a ground out. That is championship quality baseball, Jerry.
World Series, baby. I don't even know if Arozarena. Yeah.
You know what Jerry will say, man? It's a marathon, not a sprint.
But you got to sprint this one.
54% of the time.
Doing us a favor. Doing us an 0-1. Yeah, GameCubes are expensive. Yeah, they are. GameCube still has its longevity.
They still have a GameCube?
Yeah, they're selling it at these retro gaming stores.
Nintendo GameCube, right?
The pitch. And that is low for a ball. Did he go for it? Nope, he did not. That's going to be a 1-1. But Robles is at third base now because of the bad pitch. And Robles is actually going at it. So I do like he's listening to you for the aggressiveness.
All we need is a base hit through the middle. A base
freaking hit will do it. And that seems difficult for him to do. As we got 1-1. 1-1 for Randy Arozarena. He is 0 for 4. Leader. Anything that will bring it in. Now here's the 1-1. And that is low for a ball. And that is now a 2-1 count for Randy Arozarena.
Just one more dying quail a week, and you're at Yankee Stadium. A grounder with eyes.
Looking at 2-1 by Duvall.
The dink.
And the pitch.
The Texas leaguer.
And that is a strike, and the Mariners are down to the final strike. I really think Randy should have swung at that one. Because he won't swing at good pitches, but he'll swing at shit pitches. And now the Mariners are down to that final strike. They're a strike away from being swept. And now the pitch. And now here's a liner, and that is going to be a base hit. The Mariners have tied this game. The Mariners have tied this game on a base hit by Randy Arozarena. Cal Raleigh, the third base. And now the game is tied, and we are guaranteed going into the bottom of the 9th inning. I cannot believe what I just saw. It was on the final strike. It was a nice liner past the third baseman, Chapman. And now Mariners are back in business.
Oh, that was a shot down the left field line.
It was a shot. It's too bad Cal Raleigh didn't have enough legs. Otherwise, he probably could have scored that one. And you couldn't pinch.
Randy, stop your posing now at second base, you poser.
He's doing that again. This is why I will not be disappointed if the Mariners get rid of him soon. Like, when he wants a big contract, he can take it somewhere else. I think he's overrated.
By the way, that was a nice clutch base hit.
Here is Mastroboni, and that is outside for a ball. Can't believe the Mariners had tied this game. We're looking at 2-0.
Let's go, Mastroboni.
Do the maestro stuff. And now the pitch.
He loves having that big stick in his hand.
Yeah.
No? Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Well, maybe that troll guy would have. I think maybe he could come up with creative jokes on that with the way his trolling talents.
He just loves having that smooth black stick in his hand.
Oh, you just had to do that. That's going to be a 2-2. Down to the final strike before we go into the bottom of the ninth inning. And you wonder, if I were the bottom of the ninth inning, I would give it to Gregory Santos. And we're looking at 2-2 for Mastroboni. And now the pitch. And check swing, did he go?
Speak softly.
He did not go. It's going to be a 3-2. And if Mastroboni goes to first base, you're going to have Mitch Garver, possibly with the bases loaded, unless Mastroboni can get some kind of a clutch hit.
Oh, Mastroboni had a nice little fastball right down there, right down Broadway, and he swung right through it. Shocker!
As we're looking at 3-2 for Mastroboni, and now the pitch, and that is outside for ball 4, and the bases are loaded for Mitch Garver.
The bases are loaded full of Mariners,
and Mitch Garver is 1-for-1. So maybe you're telling me that there is a chance.
What was all that 1 in a million talk?
I don't know.
Looks like you've never seen Dumb and Dumber, where Lloyd was like, "So what are the chances?" And she says 1 in a million, and he's like, "There's still a chance." Well, was all that 1 in a million talk?
I hated the last scene where they're like, "Oh no, I don't need you, girls." I'm like,
"No, the town is that way."
That's what happens when you're a nice guy for too long.
You get afraid of women?
I abandoned my nice guy values years ago.
So now you're a dickhead to women? Is that what you're saying?
If someone says, I got to cancel, I have grandma's birthday, and I will say, no, my grandma's in the hospital, I go, I apologize for causing your grandma to get sick. And I do it in quotes.
I didn't mean to break your grandma's ass.
Yeah.
Sorry about
that. Pitch. And of course she gets offended. How dare you? Blocked. I'm like, what's more effed up is you're using your own grandmother to get out of things rather than just say, oh no, you're ugly, I don't like you, bye. The second one I would give more respect. The pitch. The ones I respect are the ones that just say, no, you're ugly, F off. Respect.
Yeah, no, I dig it. But yeah. I like to call people out on their shit.
1-1 for Garver. And popped up, and this is probably going to end this inning. It really will do. Miss! He makes the catch.
LOL, a pop out. Yeah. That's Mitch Garver for you.
Can you expect anything less? Nope.
He does not have the clutch gene, whereas Randy Arozarena will break it off in your grandmother's ass if you dare him.
Yep.
Randy Arozarena gives no fucks. Sorry for cursing there, but that's the way he feels because he's going to sit there and do this.
Which he really should not be doing that. And by the way, maybe another high.
Nope. And that was the most intense game I had ever played. Had a very exciting finish. And if you're wondering exactly what happened, join my channel member. I'll admit it, I never hustle on pop flies. And that was the most intense game I had.
Yeah, dude, I never hustle on pop flies.
Dude, you went into a home run trot on a routine fly ball.
No, I went into the, I'm out. I'm not going to run. This is pointless.
That looked like a home run trot, bud.
I Randy Arose. One time on a hitter's ballpark, I literally played where home run was close to guaranteed for a softball. I hit the first home run, and then the second at bat, I did the Albert Pujols home run trotting, and it landed on the guy's glove. You know, Albert Pujols, when he hits a home run, he's like walking. He's like, oh, yeah, I hit that, man. And Randy Arozarena, they're showing the camera on him.
Never go into a home run trot unless you're 100% confident that that ball is gone. So
Randy
Josh says,
it.
pull a John Singleton.
I guess so.
Oh,
I was right.
Are you talking about? So, by the way, are you talking about the director John Singleton or the baseball player John Singleton?
Baseball player. There was a John Singleton on the Astros, I think.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, that's right. Josh is an Astro. Okay, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
As we got Gregory Santos.
Here's your guy. Gregory.
I got what I wanted.
Don't give it up, Gregory.
And I forgot to realize that Andres Munoz is terrible on the road. So
I'm here for the look at Jonathan Shankup. That's my guy, man. Jonathan is my guy, and he's here for all that smoke. Look at that, the Seattle upset.
As in the Mariners beat the Giants, or another heartbreak. And here's Yastrzemski and the pitch, and that is low for a ball.
Yes, Michael Yastrzemski.
You got Yastrzemski
of the great
Carl.
Wouldn't that be something
and Bailey?
Wouldn't that be something if Mike Yastrzemski wins the NL Triple Crown, following in the footsteps of his late granddad? Klein, I don't want to hear it, Klein. I don't want to hear it, Klein.
Where's he at? I want my $10 to pitch, and that is outside for a ball. 3-0. Gregory Santos is already struggling.
Come on, Klein.
And Gregory Santos has to adjust his belt. Very nice. Thoughts became reality. Speak into existence. Isn't that what Jerry DiPoto pretty much said?
That's deep, John. But you're right.
And now the pitch. And ball 4, take your base. You walked on 4 straight pitches. You might as well just...
By the way, I think the last person to win the NL Triple Crown was Frank Robinson, I believe.
Let me look it up. Okay, Google. Who was the last NL Triple Crown winner?
I couldn't find an answer to that specific question, but according to CBSSports.com, the last player to win the Triple Crown is future Hall of Famer
Miguel Cabrera.
330 with 44 home runs and 139 RBIs for the 2012 Tigers.
2012.
Since RBI became
that was AL, and it was the last player to win the NL Triple. No way, it was not Joe Medwick. 1937.
No way. That was Carl Yastrzemski.
I thought Frank Robinson won the Triple Crown in both the AL and the NL, the only player to do it in both leagues.
He won the Triple Crown in the American League in 1967. He was most likely with Boston. And Gregory Santos has yet to throw a strike, by the way. Santos just doesn't look that good. Yeah, he hasn't given up runs yet, but he hasn't thrown a strike yet on Matos. As we're looking at the 2-0 and the pitch, and now he finally gets it in for a strike.
Yeah, I guess it might have been Joe Medwick in 1936. So there you go.
So NL, it's been a very long time.
Yeah, what's funny is there was actually people that thought that Mike Trout should have won the MVP over Cabrera in 2012, even though Cabrera did something that almost never happens in baseball, winning the Triple Crown.
As we are looking at 2-1, and now the pitch. Now here's a ground ball, could be double play ball. Throw to second and and he bobbled the ball. Ryan Bliss bobbled the ball, and now you're gonna have a man on first base still. They had a chance to complete the double play. Here was J.P. Crawford throwing it to second, and Ryan Bliss lost his focus. He was distracted by Yastrzemski, but there's no excuse. Should have thrown it. Should have the throw. this is where Mariners infielding it is absolutely atrocious.
They get one. Oh, good Lord.
Now we got Bailey
They
up to the plate.
But they get one, so that's important there. The lead runner.
Now here's a fly ball to deep right field, and Robles he's there and he makes the catch. He made the leaping catch, and he makes the catch, but he's kind of shaken up. And now here's the throw to third. Wait, I don't even think he made he made the catch, but that put Matos to third base, and now Victor Robles is shaken up. He has hurt himself. He's holding on to his left wrist, but he made an absolutely outstanding catch. Now let's just hope that Victor Robles is okay, because the Mariners can't take any more injuries, because they don't really have any. Like, who else are you going to look forward to in the outfield? Dom Canzone?
What a catch. Wow. That was a hell of a catch. Oh, did he pull a junior by breaking his wrist?
Yeah, I think he pretty much did. Now he's thriving in pain, and yet he was still able to roll the ball out to the cutoff man.
Oh, bad. Oh, wow.
That's not looking good.
Oh, no, it's fine. He's putting pressure on his hand right there. It's on the ground. Looks like he's putting pressure, but he's definitely hurt.
That was potentially a game-saving catch. It could have been a foul ball, but you still got to love the effort.
Yeah, maybe he may have broken something in his wrist.
Yeah, and this is what we were concerned about, is Victor Robles. Is he going to be able to sustain an actual healthy season? And this is the concern has been validated. But yeah, he is an absolute pain. I don't think he's going to continue. Especially you have Dan Wilson and the trainer and other staff members out there.
I'm trying to see where, so as he goes into the netting, like, I don't see where he hurts the wrist, though. That's the crazy thing.
It must have been wherever he landed.
Because he
goes
into the netting with his throwing hand first. No, there it is, right there. It doesn't look like, maybe he hit the wall. I'm trying to see. Here it is, right here. So he goes in, glove first, and then it doesn't really looks like his body takes more of the damage than the wrist. Maybe he's got one of those limp wrist issues. Maybe he's one of those limp wristers. I don't know. Like, I don't get it. It's like I'm trying to figure out, like, like when Junior hit the wall, he went in glove first to the wall, and it shattered his hand.
Oh, yeah.
He goes into the net here. And I'm trying to figure out how.
And now you wonder who's going to be your right fielder. Who's like on the bench that can play outfield? Because you've already took out Dylan Morris third base. So I wonder if they're going to move things around.
Do we potentially see a Mitch Haniger reunion?
No, he's already cut.
You bring him back.
Victor Robles out for the season could be too much for this team. We're already horrible enough.
Yeah, I would probably assume you're going to be looking at Dom Canzone probably.
How about? Oh, I have an idea. Let's just rush up the Yordan Alvarez.
But what you could do is you could play Rayleigh in the outfield as well too.
And then your first base is going to be Solano.
And
that means you got to call
Locklear.
You got to call up Ty Locklear.
And by the way, if Robles out for the season, in totality, it's not that big of a loss, because I predicted Robles wasn't going to finish the season in Seattle to begin with, anyways. But now he's out.
But he is the one that gets the quick hits.
Come on, Victor, rub some dirt on it and get back out there. Oh, look, they're holding it too. He looks like he's crying.
Yeah, it's not looking good.
Oh, come on. You didn't break your fibula or your tibula, did you?
And it's not like it was an injury done by wear and tear. It's just that it was like a freak.
So hold on real quick. So
they're bringing the cart.
The fibula and the tibula is the leg, and the radius and ulna is the arm.
They're bringing out the cart. That's how bad the injury seems severe. I think this is going to be. I think this is going to be a 60-day IL right here.
Yeah.
So that means Dom Canzone's going to be. Let's look at the pool of.
Let's go, Dom. The Dominator.
All right. Let's talk. Let's debate. Who gets called up? We got Leo Rivas, Samad Taylor, Tyler Locklear, Austin Shenton, Dom Canzone, Nick Dunn, Harry Ford, Blake Hunt, Jack Lopez, Spencer Packard, Ryland Thomas, Ben Williamson, and Cole Young.
Well, it's going to be Dom Canzone because you need an outfielder. So there you go. So that makes the most sense. But that being said, or if they want, they can bring up Dom Canzone, but they can also play. Luke Raley in the outfield as well too. So you can flip flop. You can flip flop if you want to do that, but then you have to have cover at first base, which means Ty Locklear.
Robles is still in massive pain, but you got to give it to him that he made just an outstanding catch. It was going foul, but you still got to love the effort.
And you see him on the back of the card. He's flexing it like this, so you see him working his wrist. So maybe he tore something like a ligament, maybe. Dylan Moore is on third. Master Boney's in the outfield. Yeah, like you don't want Master Boney.
You'd rather have.
Maybe you do. I don't know. Yeah, but you can this is what happens when you don't do anything in the off season. Your depth, you get one of these injuries, and now all of a sudden your depth comes into question.
And Jared Apoto's like, we're just doing the fan base a favor. 54% of the time, and this game is
all the time.
This game is really proving it. Trade for Luis Robert Jr. You know what? Maybe Jared Apoto should find a way to sell the idea on maybe any of our lesser prospects get Luis Robert Jr. Because if the Diamondbacks were able to get Suarez for nothing, then we should have no problem getting Luis Robert Jr. for nothing.
Well, it's April, so that's not going to happen, right? The earliest you might see a trade might be in June, but even then. But that being said, I'm assuming that that was a nice catch though. But damn, how do you
because of the injury, the umpire is sending the runner from third base all the way back to second base.
Well, that helps. But that being said, it's like, how do you get injured that way? Good Lord. But anyway, was that a cell phone that came out of his glasses? His sunglasses that dropped? I was like, that looks like a cell phone. But that being said, though, it would make sense that you're going to call up an outfielder, right? Which is where
Canzone
comes into play. That being said, you also have to ask, is there anybody on the lineup that you can play short term in the outfield? And the answer is yes, because you do have Luke Raley if you want to run him out there in the outfield. But that being said, now you're taking numbers out from your infield. So
I'd rather get Ty Locklear.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, would you rather call up Ty Locklear at first base and get him run at first base with Raley in the outfield? That makes sense a little bit. That probably makes more sense than Dom Canzone.
I'd call up Ty Locklear because we have already seen what Dom Canzone can't do. So I saw enough from last year. And now we got Santos against Costa. Now here's a ground ball, and that's going to get right through for a base hit. And this is going to end the game right there. And the Giants have won instantly right after that injury of Victor Robles. And now the ball game is over, which means the Giants have swept the Seattle Mariners after just one pitch. And that is it.
All right. Come on, Klein. Come on, Klein. Let me hear it, Klein.
Let's hear it, Klein. Well, all we can say is that this was a very disappointing series. Not only did the Mariners, they've blown it twice on absolute heartbreakers by one run, and now they're swept. They're going to be 3-7 going up against Houston. And this game was a lot of lost opportunities. Like, they allowed so many runners on base. Like, we can already see that this team has massive issues, even without the injuries, especially before Victor Robles, because we saw so many opportunities where they could have scored these runs and prevent themselves in this situation. And the bullpen's not that much better either.
No. Although I will give some flowers to Eduardo Bizardo, who had a nice outing today. But I will say that, Mariners up 2-0, and you have one of your better starters on the hill in Brian Wu. And he leaves a fastball up out over the plate, and Yastrzemski just takes it the other way. And as soon as that ball goes out, you kind of had the feeling that this thing was over, that it was going to take a Herculean effort. But then the Mariners actually do get runners in scoring position. They get one on a base hit, and then J.P. Crawford strikes out in the worst possible situation with runners in scoring position and one out in a situation where you're just hoping for contact. Even a dribbler anywhere in the infield, you might be able to lay it out and score the tying run, but you're absolutely right. This was just a game of missed opportunities, and it's It's disappointing, man, because now you're coming into a portion of the schedule where it's not going to be forgiving, and there's a very good chance that this thing gets away from the Mariners quick.
Yeah, it really does. Like, we're looking at schedule. Not only are the Mariners going to be hosting the Houston Astros, and you're at home, so that's where the Mariners' offense is even worse, because I'm not going to say it, and I don't want to say it. Then you got the Texas Rangers, who are actually off to a better start than the Mariners. Then you're at Cincinnati, at Toronto, and at Boston, and you're not going to be home until April 25th against Miami and Los Angeles. So with that stretch, just to think that going 500 in that stretch would be considered an absolute wild success, because with the lack of personnel the Mariners have, their infield's atrocious. Ryan Bliss couldn't even complete a double play. And then third base is pretty much empty other than Dylan Moore. But do you want him as your everyday player? You don't. JP Crawford is proving himself that he may not even be a shortstop any longer for the Mariners. And now you got Victor Robles injured. Now you're short of an outfielder. Unless what are you gonna do? Call up Dom Canzone or call up Tyler Locklear and move Luke Raley to right field? Like, the depth is already thin, and we were crying for it throughout the entire offseason that the Mariners had to add legitimate players to not only, of course, build a good offense, but also to offset all of these injuries that are already happening. We have Jorge Polanco, who's already day-to-day, and now Victor Robles. With the way that injury happened, you would think that that's probably going to be a 60-day IL.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't. Yeah, there was no breathing room, and that was the biggest reason why it was so imperative that the Mariners get off to a hot start. I mean, you have the A's for 4, you have the Tigers for 3, and a Giants team that, quite frankly, you're probably better than, and you basically you barely split against the A's. You get dummied by the Tigers, and then you get dummied by the Giants in a game where you lose 10-9, and then 2 games where you have the lead in the series, and it's like today it's just baffling, man. It's just baffling. And now you have the prospect of the Astros for 3, you have the Rangers for 3, and then you travel to Cincinnati and Toronto
and Boston
before you come home against the Marlins. And the question is, is there a series win in any of those?
Let me see. I'm going to say Astros, probably not, but the only forgiving thing is Astros are not exactly off to a good start, but that may not matter. Texas, I'll be happy at this point. 1 out of 3 seems like a success because they're off to a really good start, and they have to deal with Jacob deGrom and Eovaldi. Then Cincinnati, they pretty much never win there at this point. And then Toronto, you never win a series in Toronto. And Boston, they always suck at Boston. So this is looking very bleak. Like, this is looking like a start where hopefully we have fans finally saying, fire Jerry Dipoto, because Jerry Dipoto had all of offseason to take care of these problems and voids. And he had a great free agency to do it. Or at least had all those prospects to give away that he hasn't even used in major league level yet. You still have Cole Young riding in there in AAA. You still have Harry Ford, who he had not even used. You got Ty Locklear still hanging around. So it's like, what's the point of holding on to these prospects if you're not going to
use them as holding on? Yeah, like use them as trade chips to enhance your major league roster, right? Is your payroll so thin that you can't add a guy with prospects? I mean, is that what you're telling me? No. Okay, so what's the deal? This is supposed to be a draft, develop, and trade team, right? So it's okay, if you don't want to be active in free agency, that's fine. But that being said, there is another way to improve this Major League Baseball team, and that's by unloading some of your prospects that that are not going to have a future at the big leagues, right? There's going to be a handful of guys who are sitting in your top 15 who for a fact are not going to have a future with the Mariners. And right now, you can't convince me that there's going to be teams out there that aren't going to want to deal in prospects. I can name off 5 right off the top of my head that would be happy to have Mariner prospects.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and Kevin Kirby says, or call them up. Right. And I said, and that's what I said at the beginning of the season. If you're not going to improve your major league roster, I would rather see Cole Young get run in the infield, Tyler Locklear get run in the infield, because at least you're doing something progressive. You're at least trying to at least improve with some of these young guys that, for the lack of a better term, are coveted. But instead, it's like you're going to try to sell me on Donovan Solano and Dylan Moore, who we've seen now, who is not an everyday player. You're trying to convince us that this outfield of Rosarena, Robles, and Julio Rodriguez is like the second coming of Jesus. And it's like, come on, man. Like, that's the biggest insult is the fact that, as somebody who has watched this team over the course of the last 35, 40 years, you're going to sit here and tell me that your master plan, that this thing, you can run it back, and because this pitching is so good, that it's going to trickle down through the lineup. It's like, dude, you can't insult my intelligence. You literally cannot do it.
And with the starters, as much as they are supposed to be the strength of the team, they're not doing that great at the start of the season either. We saw Logan Gilbert lose a game to the Tigers. Brian Wu gave up home runs. Bryce Miller didn't look that great. Like, I can't even name who's actually the most efficient starter. I was going to say Brian Wu, but after today, it seems like everyone is off their game. And even without the injury, you still have 4 quality starters, and they are still not playing up to that level. Now, can you blame them at this point? Probably not, because they already know what they're pitching up against. They're pitching with the fact that they're not getting run support. They're pitching with the idea that the bullpen's just going to blow it. So it kind of takes a mental toll.
And it's not the craziest thing to say that your starting pitchers are more comfortable and work better in a rhythm with a lead than trying to be perfect. And that's the biggest problem. It's like these guys, and this was the problem with Julio, with Felix Hernandez in his prime, the fact that he might get 1 run per start. So you got to pitch perfect, which means you are going to be stressing out the entire time, knowing that a 2-run home run and you're going to lose this game.
Then that 2010 season, going back to Felix, like, everything that happened in that season gave every bit of reason to give Felix the Cy Young Award winner, because sure, 13-12, blah, 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 but look at his ERA, 2.27. He held the other teams to less runs. But when you looked at his run support, it was diddly squat. And I think he didn't even get 2 runs worth of run support throughout the entire season. And that's what the entire starting rotation is dealing with.
And, here's the thing. It's like, I don't care where the Mariners finished the last couple seasons. I know technically they finished 1 game out, but you can't convince me that those were playoff teams that just fell short. It's like, that wasn't the case, right? That, the 2024 team fell apart in July. The 2023 team fell apart in September. It's like, the reality is there is not enough experienced winners in this team to augment some of these guys. That's one of the things that's missing. It's like, who in this lineup right now has won multiple championships that can carry this team? You know what I mean? Like, experience matters. And that's the reality. It's like, yes, it's great to have some of these young players, but that being said, you also have to have leaders on this team as well too. And that's something that's sorely missing from this team, is having legit leaders being able to carry. And that's maybe Randy, he's been to a World Series. Yeah, but whatever, man. We're talking the 2020 Rays in a shortened season in a bubble World Series, man. Come on now. I just, for me, it's like, what said it all to me is when, they were trying to bring back Carlos Santana this offseason and
Justin Turner,
and couldn't get it done.
Yeah, and they offered more money than the Guardians, but Carlos Santana knew and was concerned. He already knew about the culture of the team. So, and Suarez was the one that kept it all together. And ever since Suarez got traded, there is no real leader on that team.
So, okay, great. I'll give you Randy Arozarena. He's been to the playoffs a lot. Okay, fine. Who else? Who else? Maybe Mitch Garver. Okay, that's 2. Who else?
And this is response to Kevin Kirby's comments. But going forward in this series, and I want to see who's pitching in the next few days. And I did add
experience matters, man.
And I've added Houston's starter, by the way, for my fantasy baseball team because I know he's going to get me 5 strikeouts because you're in T-Mobile Park. But you have Logan Gilbert against some bullpen guy. Then you got Luis Castillo against Valdez, and then Mariners have a pitcher to be named later against Brown. So it's not looking. I have no hope for this series. Like I'm expecting 1 out of 3 at best. I don't expect 2 out of 3. If it's 2 out of 3. Then we're gonna have fans saying we are so back, baby. And yeah, speaking of Polanco, which Kevin Kirby's mentioning, Polanco is now having injuries, and let's look at our injury reports right now, and it's not looking any promising. George Kirby's still out, no timeable return. Matt Brash, no timeable return. You've got Jorge Polanco on day-to-day, and now you got Victor Robles, who could miss 60 games. He could be on 60-day IL. And we know how 60-day ILs basically work. It basically means you're out for the season. So we can potentially lose Victor Robles. So you lost one of our more athletic outfielders who still could be better. But he was supposed to be one of the spark plugs of the teams, and now the Mariners don't have that. Who is your leadoff hitter going to be? You have no idea. You've got what? Dylan Moore, J.P. Crawford, who's pretty much gone. Do you want to put Julio as a leadoff hitter again who strikes out too much? Or better yet, call up Cole Young and just let him play leadoff. He plays leadoff.
It's a good question, man.
And Houston
more questions than answers, and we're not even 2 weeks into the season.
Yeah, we had questions before the season even started, and Kevin's saying Houston looks just as bad as they do, but they still have what? Yordan Alvarez, who kills the Mariners, and Jose Altuve. So, I don't know. Looking at more comments. Mariners should have paid Pete Alonso, Alex Bregman, Ha-Seong Kim in the offseason. Yeah, they should have. Mariners would have a solid third baseman. Mariners would have a solid first baseman. And the Mariners would have a shortstop that would be right on J.P. Crawford's tail. But nope, the Mariners cannot do that. What should be the move be for Robles? Well, the move that we're predicting is either Dom Canzone or Tyler Locklear gets called up. It's probably going to be Dom Canzone because of outfield depth, and they don't want to move Luke Raley to right field. But I think what they should do is let Ty Locklear play so we don't put so much strain on the infield and just let Luke Raley play right field because he does hustle, which I will give him that. And I would rather have Luke Raley at the outfield than a first baseman anyway.
100% agreed. I'm just going to, here's the thing. It's like, at least by paying Pete Alonso, Alex Bregman, and Ha-Seong Kim, at least you're showing ambition, and that's one of the things that it's been sorely been lacking. But that being said, you know that they're not going to do it because I still believe this to be true, that the $240 million signing of that second baseman,
Robbie
Cano, that left them with egg on their face. It went horribly. And I think that because the Mariners were already risk averse to begin with anyway, that just made them even more risk reverse. That's why they hired Jared Dipoto, because Dipoto does not believe in handing out long contracts to position players. It's the way that he operates. He would rather draft, develop, and trade, but we're not even trading. We're not doing any of that. Can you imagine if this team actually did trade Luis Castillo to the Red Sox and you got Tristan Casas and Yoshida?
Exactly. And here's the ironic thing about the Cano contract. They still dumped him to the Mets, and the Mets still took up a portion of his contract.
Right, and the Mariners were still paying him not to play for them. But that being said, it's like, that was the biggest problem coming into the season was depth. You just didn't know where it was at. And so you were hoping that they would avoid injury. That was the plan. The plan was that maybe they can avoid injury for the first couple months and get off, and stay in that race till they can get to the point to the trading deadline where they can actually start improving the team. But if the worst happened, then you're in a world of hurt because by the time you get to the deadline, you're going to be a seller.
And it makes, to make matters worse too, is it's not like Mariners really have any prospects that will stand out. Like all the best ones are still stuck in A+. Laz Montez, A+, but he could be a strikeout dud. That is still possible. Like he could either be like a Yordan Alvarez or he could be Jared Kelnick or Carlos
We're gonna
Peguero.
find out, yeah. We're going to find out if he's a strikeout merchant. But that being said, it's like Cold Emerson, not ready yet.
Feldine Celestine just got to Modesto and hoping that he stays healthy.
Yeah. Johnny Formello is coming back from injury. It's like some of these guys are legit 2, possibly 3 years away. And this is what they're banking on, the 2027, 2028 season when some of these guys are starting to come up. Like in the meantime, the guys that are close are Cole Young and Ty Locklear.
Just give him a shot.
And it's like by the time we hit Memorial Day, we're going to be in that status where you're giving young guys a shot. Like this has the potential to go bad so quickly. Like we're on the brink of losing the season and we're not even 2 weeks into the season.
And a few things. One is, what was I going to say? Lost my train of thought already. Is when, yeah, we got to play these prospects. But the other thing too is they want to say, oh, it's just an early start. It's only, yeah, we've been saying that for how many freaking years? We said this in 2008. We said this in 2010. We said this in 2015. We said this in 2017. We said this in 23. We said this in 24. Don't tell me about, oh, it's only a couple weeks. How about the fact that the Mariners kept missing the playoffs by 1 game because they lose ridiculous games like this? And
they don't start the season quick. They don't play with a sense of urgency. And it's like they play like they're 6 months in the season and they don't start showing up until June, July, where the first month of the season is an absolute horror show. You know, and yet they still manage to hang around. But that being said, it's like it's been a long time since a Mariner team had been out of it by Memorial Day. Like we're on the cusp of like 2005. We're on the cusp of like pick any year in the 1980s.
Any of them.
Pick any year.
1986. And let me add to this. And I finally remember my train of thought. Sure, we have all these exciting prospects on the way, but here's the problem. Logan Gilbert, George Kirby still haven't signed extensions. Don't you think that one of them are going to be gone by then? Did you ever think about that, Jerry DiPoto?
100%. But also,
and John Stanton?
I'll take it another step further. Let's say Logan Gilbert or Brian Wu, who's got an injury history, or Bryce Miller suffer an injury, and they're out for half of the season.
Then who the Mariners have to lean on? No one.
Who? And now all of a sudden, your vaunted rotation doesn't look so goddamn vaunted.
Yeah, but we have Gerangelo Shincha, but he's an A+. So he's still years
Logan
away.
Evans? Well, who's it going to be? Logan Evans?
Emerson Hancock again to give up 6 runs in the first inning?
Could be worse.
Yeah. I think Mariner fans have learned the lesson that we can't get any worse than this because the Mariners find ways.
The goal isn't to be mediocre. The goal is just to be good enough where it draws 3 million fans to the turnstiles. And that's the problem. It's the biggest problem is not the franchise, but the Mariner fan base that accepts this bullshit. That's the problem.
Which is why, yeah.
And I understand it because we haven't won jack shit in nearly 50 years, and Mariner fans are desperate for a winner, and so they'll cling to the narrative that the Mariners are willing to put out and spend their hard-earned money to go watch this crap.
All I can say is the only reason I'm going to a Mariners game on April 25th against Miami, it's for one of my best friends' birthday party, one of my Special Olympics athletes, so I gotta spoil him, and I'm actually trying to find a way to get hooked. I'm trying not to spend money because I have no interest in giving my money to this team. I already did through RoofTopSports just so I can do my YouTube shows. But aside from that, I don't really have much of an incentive to go to a Mariners game, and neither do most of the fans that don't even show up. The opening day didn't even draw a sellout. So maybe some Mariner fans are finally waking up to the idea that, yeah, they're not giving us a winning team. So,
Well,
yeah, we're not
if
going to
you're,
give them our money.
but that's the thing is like if you're interested in watching competitive baseball, you have the Aqua Sox to the north who are going to be fun and exciting. The Everett Aqua Sox actually have a nice little core of young Mariner prospects that are worth paying to watch. And plus tickets, you can get tickets for under $10, or you can go down to Tacoma and watch them and watch the Rainiers play, which is always a fun ticket to purchase, right? And if you use the promo code
and watch, use my promo code.
And what's even best is you can use the promo code and get $20 off your purchase, and you're essentially watching Aqua Sox or Rainiers games for free.
Yeah, and how about Modesto with what's his name? Felnine Celestine or hell, fly over to Dominican Republic or Arizona and you can watch the DSL and ACL for free. If you're willing to handle, if you can handle 110-degree weather, that is. But
yeah, I just, it's just, you know what, the biggest thing was, you know, after 2022 and the excitement of going into 2022 when the Mariners were absolutely aggressive in the offseason to make that team better. And the way that season ended and the momentum and just how excited the city was around this baseball team to completely drop the ball in subsequent seasons. We are so far away from that season, the momentum that we were able to bring to this town. And now it's like, it almost feels like Jerry DiPoto is just like throwing darts at a dartboard. That'll work. That'll work.
So and it's 2022 like, was basically 95. I think this feels like 1998 or 1999. That's how it feels right now.
No, this somewhat feels like 1988, 1989.
Oh, we're gonna go that far, aren't we?
Yeah. It doesn't feel too good. It's like you watch the team play, and it's like, dude, I don't want to say that these guys aren't trying because I believe that they are. It's just it's flawed, man. We don't have any corner infielders. We started the season without a third baseman and a first baseman. You know what I mean? And your answer to that is Dylan Moore and Rowdy Tellez.
At that point, just call up Cole Young and Ty Locklear on your opening day. It's just too bad that none of them had good spring ball, but eventually you have to call them up because we cannot go into this season going for a whole season of Dylan Moore, a broken Polanco now, apparently. The only thing that's carrying him is his bat, but is that even enough anymore? Like, his defense is so bad, I don't even care that he's batting 300. Like, even if he's having a 40 home run season, I still don't care. If his defense sucks, who cares at this point?
And it was flawed, to think that he can play out of position where even his natural position isn't really all that great. But Kevin Kirby asked, what will it take for John Stanton to sell the team? And it's like, well, the cool part is the fact that John Stanton's in his 70s, right? So you would expect him to cash in at some point, right? That's the whole point. It's like you do this and you play the long game for the eventual sell. That's why franchise valuation is important, because when you eventually sell it, you're going to walk away with $3 to $5 billion, right? Depending on who buys it. But that being said, it's like the one thing you have to consider is, like, in your 70s, you're not going to want to do it forever, because you're eventually going to want to ride off into the sunset. So, like, I would probably assume that within 5 to 7 years, Stanton sells a club.
Yeah, that's going to be a long time. But unfortunately now, though, I am running out of time. I guess the last question I'm going to answer from Kevin is, how high would we be if we beat the Texas and Houston? I still won't be high at all. I might be smiling because, I mean, a series win is a series win, and we kind of need one right now. We haven't even won a series.
Like, we need a week stretch of good baseball where we're scoring 5 runs a game. You know what I mean? Like, that's what this club needs. It's like, it needs like that inner momentum just for the team to say, like, you know what? Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, that's going to do it. Glad that we were able to vent about the Mariners, and everyone else, glad that you're able to vent throughout the entire game. And shout out to our good friend Freeze for actually donating to my channel once
It's
again.
Fritz, bud. It's Fritz.
Fritz. Thank you. It's Fritz. And for those that have been using my SeatGeek promo code, thank you very much for doing that. And here's to hoping the Mariners actually win tomorrow. And go Mariners.